This page is the cover of Beep! Mega Drive magazine from May 1991. The artwork features a colorful, cartoony baseball theme, with a character swinging a bat at a baseball, set against a diamond background. The main feature focuses on the Terra, a new machine designed to be compatible with both IBM PCs and the Mega Drive, asking, "What can you do with Terra?" The magazine announces a bonus supplement, Beep! Mega Drive Junior Volume 7, highlighting simulation games like Romance of the Three Kingdoms and Advanced Daisen Ryaku. There's also a giveaway for a Technosoft game music collection. Games mentioned on the cover, likely featured inside, include Shining in the Darkness, Bonanza Bros, Zero Wing, Arcus Odyssey, Zan, Dino Land, Warsong, and Veritex. This page is an advertisement for a new simulation game on the Mega Drive titled Sangokushi Retsuden, Heroes of Turbulent Times. Following up on the previous page's mention of Three Kingdoms-based simulation games, this title dives deep into the historical period. The ad invites players to play history, create drama, describing the game as a historical scroll of heroes from 1900 years ago. It highlights features like over 200 characters, realistic military tactics, and 3 different scenarios based on historical eras. The goal is to become a hero who can unify the land. The advertisement shows the release date of April 26th and the price of 8,700 yen, alongside an image of the Mega Drive console. This page continues to showcase the simulation game Sangokushi Retsuden, Heroes of Turbulent Times, following up on its introduction from the previous page. It presents various screenshots demonstrating the game's interface, including the strategic map, character stats, and tactical battle scenes. The game allows players to dive into historical conflicts across 3 distinct eras: 184 AD, 200 AD, and 215 AD, striving to unify the land. Also featured is the dungeon-crawling RPG, Shining and the Darkness. Vibrant artwork captures the game's atmosphere, depicting brave heroes confronting a fearsome Minotaur-like creature, hinting at the challenging encounters within the labyrinth. Sega is promoting the game with a Spring Double Present campaign, offering fans the chance to win tickets to either the International Sports Fair 91 or an ST Band concert. Players could enter by sending in a postcard with a ticket from the game's manual by the April 21st deadline. This page is a dramatic teaser from developer Wolf Team, featuring a striking image of a red wolf silhouetted against a lightning storm. The text announces, "Thunder God, galloping through the next generation," suggesting a new game or project is on the horizon from the studio. This page follows up on the previous teaser, featuring a striking image of a red wolf silhouette and introducing Wolf Team's brand new logo, which incorporates a dynamic lightning bolt. The text announces the change and highlights the company's refreshed communication concept, emphasizing a desire to be more passionate and faster as they move towards an accelerating era and explore new game fields. It's a clear statement of intent, promising continued brave challenges from Wolf Team and urging readers to anticipate their future projects, likely building on the Thunder God theme hinted at earlier. This page features striking key artwork for a new game from Wolf Team, building on the anticipation from the previous page's reveal of their new logo and direction. The dynamic illustration depicts a heroic swordsman confronting a fearsome dragon, while a darkly robed woman watches from above. The prominent Japanese text, meaning "and then" or "and now," likely hints at the title or a key plot point. Based on the art style and the recurring characters seen here, this artwork strongly points to Annette Futatabi, the sequel to the action game El Viento, featuring the protagonist Annette and potentially Ernest Evans. It's a dramatic visual announcement for Wolf Team's next adventure on the Mega Drive. This page unveils Wolf Team's next major project following the hints on the previous page, confirming it's the 3rd episode in their established Arcus series, titled Arcus Odyssey for the Mega Drive. The striking artwork features a determined hero wielding a sword, a glimpse of a fearsome dragon, and the mysterious dark-haired woman also seen in the previous artwork, hinting at her pivotal role. This is presented as a new world for the action RPG genre, promising diverse presentations utilizing what they call exciting SFX. Gameplay features include strategic use of tactical traps against powerful enemies, a dynamic story enhanced by an NPC support system, and the exciting option for 2-player simultaneous play described as an intense twin battle. The game boasts a large 8 megabit capacity to realize expansive maps with a quarter-view perspective. The story synopsis reveals that peace was broken when the power of a holy sword was stolen by those seeking to summon a demon king, and 4 heroes must challenge an evil temple before a legendary blood moon arrives. The prominent artwork is credited to acclaimed illustrator Mutsumi Inomata, adding another layer of interest to this new Wolf Team adventure. This page unveils Alicia Dragoon, an exciting action game developed by Game Arts for the Mega Drive. The prominent artwork showcases the heroine Alicia alongside her formidable dragon companion and other allies, engaged in battle. The vertical text translates to a powerful plea, "O Thunder, save my homeland." Set to be released soon, Alicia Dragoon puts players in control of Alicia, described as a beautiful thunder dragon warrior, who battles alongside her summonable monsters. A key gameplay feature highlighted is the ultimate shooting system, with full automatic aiming in all directions. Players can choose from 8 different monsters to accompany Alicia, leveling them up as they progress. The game promises high replayability, stating that no 2 playthroughs will be the same. It was developed using a specialized tool called a page, aimed at achieving exquisite game balance. Technically, the game utilizes an 8 megabit ROM and features 13 core stages with additional content, saved via a password system. The development team includes notable names, with music by Meccano Associates, and story/visual supervision handled by Gainax, known for influential anime works, alongside character concepts and image visuals by the acclaimed Yutaka Izubuchi. This page announces the re-release of Masayuki Katayama's Mahjong Dojo for the Mega Drive, following a period of stock shortages. Developed by Game Arts, this Mahjong title features a unique school drama setting with an original story. Players can look forward to battling against a total of 21 characters, including 8 new characters exclusive to this Mega Drive version, all brought to life with a distinct cartoon art style visible in the included screenshots. The game offers 3 distinct modes to engage players. There's the story-driven class rivalry battle, a comprehensive Mahjong Dojo mode presenting over 150 difficult Mahjong questions devised by 6 different teachers, and a flexible free battle mode where you can challenge your favorite characters. It's clear Game Arts put effort into creating a substantial experience beyond just standard Mahjong gameplay. This page is an advertisement from Konami for their game selector device, designed to simplify switching between multiple game consoles like the Famicom and Super Famicom, allowing up to 4 to be connected. It was scheduled for release on April 12th for 9,500 yen. This page is a full-page advertisement for the Vantan Design Institute, promoting their game software creator course and other creative technology programs, emphasizing the magic creators cast on hearts and the demand for skilled individuals in the industry. This page features the game Griffin for the Sega Game Gear. The page includes a large illustration of the main character, an anime-style girl named Mint, standing beside the titular main battle tank, the Griffin. Large red Japanese text above the character translates to, "If I get angry." The accompanying text block provides a narrative hook for the game. Following the successful evaluation of the Griffin tank, the testing ground is attacked by enemy forces, and the chief designer is kidnapped. His granddaughter, Mint, who is also the test driver, takes control of the prototype Griffin tank to single-handedly confront the enemy and rescue her grandfather, thus embarking on a mission to save the nation. The text describes the setup for this tank action game on the Game Gear. This page features a look at several Telenet Japan releases. At the top, you see the popular action platformer Valis 2i for the Mega Drive, noted as being extremely popular and selling out fast, alongside the Mahjong game Mahjong Detective Story. The main focus, however, is the large image showcasing a powerful-looking tank or mech with the text, "Because it's scary/cool/intense." This dramatic imagery is promoting the Game Gear shooting game Griffin, confirming its scheduled release for late June 1991. It's great to see Telenet pushing their Game Gear titles alongside their successful Mega Drive lineup. There's also a promotional campaign from Telenet Japan, inviting fans to suggest a new brand name, offering enticing prizes like FM Town systems and games including Valis 2i and Exile for PC Engine CD-ROM Squared. This page presents a look at the classic strategy RPG Langrisser, known as Warsong in the West, for the Sega Mega Drive. The central focus is on introducing the main characters. Featured are character illustrations for Albert, a fighter who guards a Nenselm castle; Name, a skilled female fighter; Vargas, an experienced swordmaster who serves King Ilzak; and Jessica, a powerful warlock who knows the secret of the legendary sword Langrisser. There are no screenshots shown on this page, but the character art is prominent and detailed. A large text at the bottom declares, "He who controls this sword controls the world," highlighting the central theme of the games. This page serves as an excellent introduction to the key players in the epic conflict presented in Warsong. This page continues the look at the classic strategy RPG Warsong, known as Langrisser in Japan, for the Mega Drive. It elaborates on the game's premise, focusing on the legendary sword Langrisser and the conflict between the Baldia Kingdom and the invading Dalsilsis Empire, led by Emperor Daigos. Key characters introduced on this page include Prince Ledin, the main protagonist and fighter who inherits the blood of ancient heroes and fights to reclaim his besieged kingdom; Taylor, a former pirate turned Baldia knight and brave sea warrior; and Chris, a cleric who joins Ledin after being rescued from bandits. The page highlights the game's features, presenting it as an epic story told through 20 consecutive scenarios. It mentions realistic animated battle scenes, a commander-based system for strategic depth, a level-up class change system, and RPG elements like magic and influential non-enemy NPCs. Satoshi Urushihara is credited as the character designer. Visuals include character art for Ledin, Taylor, and Chris, along with 2 screenshots showcasing the game's tactical map view and a close-up animated battle scene. The page also lists the Japanese release date as April 26th, the price as 7,300 yen, excluding tax, and confirms the game uses a 4 megabit ROM with backup memory. Nippon Computer System (NCS) is listed as the developer and publisher. The large text at the bottom completes the phrase from the previous page, declaring that he who controls the sword controls the world. This page features the horizontal scrolling shooter classic, Zero Wing, from Toaplan. The main image showcases the player's ship, the Zig, a distinct yellow and red vessel with prominent circular engines. The page highlights the game's title logo and features large vertical text proclaiming, "Catch it, throw it, destroy it, new space battle legend," which directly relates to the game's signature mechanic. Zero Wing is presented as a perfect port of the popular arcade game. Its key feature is the innovative Caterpillar weapon, which allows players to capture enemies and use them as shields, or throw them back as projectiles. This unique mechanic sets it apart from other shooters of the era. The page provides release information, noting the game was scheduled for a nationwide release at the end of May, with a provisional price of 8,000 yen, excluding tax. It includes an apology for delaying the release from the initially planned April 26th date, assuring players that the extra time is being used to create a better game. It also confirms the game utilizes an 8 megabit ROM. Toaplan is credited as the developer. This page announces the Mega Drive Best Selection Soundtrack CD, compiled from reader surveys conducted by the magazine. It's presented as a must-have complete preservation edition for Mega Drive users, featuring music from popular games voted on by fans. The vibrant, abstract artwork evokes the era's unique game aesthetics, with musical elements like a keyboard and notes integrated into colorful shapes and characters. The CD was scheduled for release on April 25th for 2,400 yen, tax included, under the catalog number PSCX1018, published by Polystar Co., Limited, in collaboration with Data Music, Datum. The compilation includes selected tracks from 9 classic Mega Drive titles. 1. Music from the Super Shinobi, Shinobi. 2. Tracks from Vermilion, 2i. Selections from Phantasy Star II, IV. Music from Super Monaco GP versus tracks from Afterburner 2, V. Music from Golden Axe, V2. Music specifically noted as being from Assault Suit Lanos, V2Y. Tracks from the Puzzle Classic columns. 9. Music from the intense shooter Tatsujin, Truxton. This is a fantastic selection covering a range of genres and iconic Mega Drive soundtracks, clearly reflecting the tastes of the magazine's readership at the time. This page features the announcement for the Mega Drive title, Blue Almanac. The vibrant cover art depicts a heroic, blue-skinned figure resembling Ernest Evans standing over a magical book, flanked by eerie creatures, with an ethereal female figure and a giant orange planet in the background. The game is promoted as a full-fledged RPG with an original story. Highlights include advanced animation where characters and backgrounds move independently, action-packed battle scenes featuring multi-scrolling backgrounds, and magic spells brought to life with voice synthesis. The text notes that fans of the previous work are highly anticipating this release, strongly suggesting a connection to Wolf Team's earlier title, Ernest Evans. Blue Almanac for the Mega Drive was scheduled for release on May 25th, with a list price of 8,700 yen, excluding tax. Additionally, a specific soundtrack CD and cassette for the game were released simultaneously by Tokuma Japan for 2,500 yen, including tax. The game itself was published by Kodansha Sukaken under license from Sega. This page is an advertisement for two SoftBank publications: Game Boy Life Volume 2 covering Game Boy games, and Falcom Magazine, focusing on titles like Sorcerian and Dragon Slayer. This page presents a collection of IC cards for Sharp electronic handbooks from SoftBank, focusing on exam preparation. These aren't typical games, but rather sophisticated study aids for university and high school entrance exams, covering subjects like English vocabulary and idioms, classical Japanese words, and Japanese and world history chronologies. The cards feature content based on popular textbooks and incorporate modern learning techniques for the time, such as review functions, time limits, and game-like elements to make memorization more engaging. It's fascinating to see how electronic devices were being leveraged for educational content delivery back then. This page is the contents page for the May 1991 issue of Mega Drive magazine. It lays out the issue's features and regular columns. The main features include a new title scramble on page 34, covering recent releases like Raiden Densetsu, Master of Monsters, Marvel Land, Battleship Gamora, and Fastest One. This is followed by the Mega Hot menu spread across pages 39, 61, and 90, highlighting hot titles such as Shining in the Darkness, Bonanza Brothers, Zero Wing, Dinoland, Warsong, listed as Langrisser, Blue Almanac, Shinobi Yoru Yasha Enbu, a PC Engine title included in this section, and Veritex. The magazine also includes a special feature on page 71 about the IBM-compatible machine Terra. Additionally, there's an appendix or supplement focusing on simulation games, featuring two titles: Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Heroes of the Troubled Times, and Advanced Strategic Commander, Germany's Blitzkrieg Operation. The page also lists various regular columns covering news, reader contributions, game designer insights, technology features, and more. Small screenshots from games like Raiden Densetsu, Bonanza Brothers, and Battleship Gamora are scattered on the left side. This page features the latest sales data for both Mega Drive and Game Gear software. The primary focus is the Mega Drive Top 10 sales ranking, highlighting the current best-selling titles. Topping the chart is Cyberball, a futuristic sports game, followed by Super Volleyball and Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. A commentary section analyzes the market, noting the strong performance of sports games and suggesting that Mega Drive owners might have been eager for more titles in that genre. Further down, the page presents the Game Gear software sales top 5. This ranking showcases the popular games for the handheld system, with classic titles like Pac-Man and Columns appearing alongside Super Monaco GP, Dragon Crystal, and the baseball game The Pro Yaku 91, indicating a growing and diverse library for the Game Gear. This page presents data from user surveys and arcade popularity rankings. The user data section highlights the top 20 games that readers most want to see ported to the Mega Drive. Leading the list are arcade hits like Final Fight and Dragon Saber, alongside PC titles such as Populous and the YS series, showing a strong desire for conversions from various platforms. The commentary notes the recent successful port of Namco's Marvel Land and speculates on other potential Namco ports like Namco Stadium. Screenshots feature Marvel Land, Dragon Saber, and Populous, with brief notes on their status or appeal. Below this is the Shop Data section, detailing the top 5 most popular games in arcades according to shop surveys. This provides insight into the current arcade scene. The ranking includes titles like Final Lap 2, Space Gun, Gun Frontier, and Rad Mobile, reflecting the diverse range of popular arcade experiences available at the time. Screenshots show Gun Frontier and Rad Mobile, highlighting their status as recent hits. The overall sentiment indicates a focus on bringing successful games, both arcade and PC, to the Mega Drive console. This page continues the user data section, focusing on the top 20 most anticipated upcoming games. The commentary notes that many previously listed games have already been released, allowing other titles to rise in the rankings. The top spot goes to Advanced Daizen Ryaku. Operation Blitzkrieg, a strategy game praised for its enhanced system, shown with a strategic map screenshot. Outrun, climbing significantly to second place, is highlighted with an arcade shot, with anticipation high for the smooth-scrolling Mega Drive port. Coming in third is Sengokushi Retsuden, featuring character art in a battle scene, noted for its unique game type. Blue Almanac, an RPG shown with a battle screenshot, is mentioned in the context of Final Fantasy on the FC, raising the question of its impact on the Mega Drive RPG scene. Finally, Langrisser takes 5th place, depicted with a battle grid, lauded for its characters despite its expected high difficulty. The page also lists games ranked 6 through 20, including popular titles like YS2I, Elysia Dragoon, Zero Wing, and Sonic the Hedgehog, showcasing the wide variety of genres readers were eagerly awaiting. The new software schedule details upcoming Sega Mega Drive and Game Gear releases. The Mega Drive schedule covers various genres, including action, RPGs, and simulation titles. Anticipated games like Sonic the Hedgehog and Elysia Dragoon are included, along with new installments in established series like Streets of Rage and Alien Storm. The Game Gear schedule features handheld versions of popular franchises and unique titles. The editorial section highlights that Kuga will be published by Japan Telenet instead of Data East. It also notes the presence of many unlisted games and the ongoing development of titles like SD Valis. The section concludes by expressing excitement about upcoming CD-ROM development for the Sega CD platform. The next page features a message board from various software makers, offering updates on their upcoming Sega Mega Drive and Game Gear titles. Sega Enterprises highlights releases like Sengokushi Retsuden for Mega Drive and the GG Shinobi for Game Gear, plus event attractions. Toaplan confirms Zero Wing is complete with many endings, hinting at secrets. Masaya thanks fans for the support on Wings of War and promotes Devil Hunter Yoko on Mega Drive. Wolf Team teases their new 4-player action RPG, Arcus Odyssey. Hot B apologizes for the Tough Guy delay but confirms its April 26th release. Sunsoft offers apologies for delays and announces Forbidden City for both Mega Drive and Game Gear. Kodansha Sukan clarifies that Blue Almanac is a command RPG, not an action RPG, ahead of its May release. Taito announces a new action game called Saint Sword. Micronet is struggling with testing Denjin Densa Etsu, Ochigan no Tsu, and asks for help. Human introduces their Fry 1 simulation Fastest One, now complete. Namco brings Mappy to Game Gear, featuring an array-changing mode. Kaneko discusses their game development philosophy and announces Berlin Wall for both platforms. Face is releasing the popular puzzle game Ryukyu on Game Gear with new modes. Finally, Sigma Shoji details their authentic Super Golf game for Game Gear. This page introduces the B Mega Dog Race Review section, featuring reviews from a team of 4 critics who score games on a 10-point scale, with the average determining the final rating. 2 games are reviewed here. First is Toaplan's classic arcade shooter, Zero Wing, scheduled for a May 31st release. It's presented as a complete port, featuring the signature capturing beam, and adds new visual scenes. Reviewer Okada gives it an 8, finding it high quality and engaging even for non-shooter fans, despite hints of potential repetition. The final average score is a strong 8.0. The second game reviewed is Sega's Sengokushi Retsuden, Heroes of a Chaotic Age, released on April 26th. This is a simulation game based on the famous romance of the Three Kingdoms. Reviewers Alex and Chaojin Barome give it scores of 6 and 5.25 respectively, criticizing it for being lackluster and disappointing, despite being a highly anticipated simulation title. Feeling attempts to add action elements are poorly executed. The final score is a low 5.25. Separately, reviewer Jam Ojisan gives a positive score of 8, and comments on progress in the dungeon crawler Shining and the Darkness. The section also notes changes to the review team and presentation. This page continues the game reviews, featuring Langrisser, a baseball title like J.League Pro Striker, Super Golf, and the GG Shinobi, with scores ranging from 6.25 to 8.0. This page features reviews for 2 more games. First is Shikinjo, a maze escape puzzle game starring a Kyanshi, which scores 5.75 with a 6 rating. The review notes the large cards are clear, but the screen feels cramped compared to a potential Mega Drive version, and the limited character options make it get boring quickly, though it's decent for killing time. Next is Ryukyu, a poker game with puzzle elements, earning a score of 6.25 with a 6 rating. Described as a luxurious blend of poker and puzzle, it includes a 2-player mode, absent from other versions. While it requires both luck and knowledge, The reviewer finds it a bit strange but potentially addictive for poker fans. The page also includes a whimsical illustration titled Rain. The concluding comments recap the month's software releases, expressing satisfaction with titles like Zero Wing and Langrisser, which was also noted positively on the previous page. Ryukyu is specifically recommended for Game Gear players, and Gear Stadium is suggested as a good game to take on trips. This page features the second volume of the Beep Mega Reader Race, a corner where readers rate Mega Drive games on a 10-point scale, and the average scores are published like betting odds to help others decide on purchases. The system encourages reader participation by making them reviewers. The page includes a ranking table derived from these reader scores. Featured in detail are several games from this ranking. Taking the top spot at number 1 is WrestleBall, with a reader score of 8.5462. Readers found it to be a standout sports game by Namco, initially tricky but becoming deeply engaging once mastered, noting the chaotic fun of controlling multiple players. Ranked 4th is The Revenge of Shinobi, scoring 8.2104. It's praised for its great music, challenging action gameplay reminiscent of classic platformers, and memorable boss fights and level design, though some felt the overall length was a minor drawback. Further down, Gambler Jiko Chushinya Mahjong Dojo comes in at 9th place, with 7.9849, described as an enjoyable mahjong game, with humorous elements and a convenient password system. Sorcerian, ranking 11th with 7.875, is appreciated for its well-crafted scenarios, despite having some graphical roughness and understated music, with players hoping for more content. The page also includes comments on other games like Hard Drivin', ranked 26th, 7.1724, seen as a realistic driving simulator, and World Cup Soccer, ranked 39th, 6.7222, recommended primarily for its two-player mode as the single-player AI was considered weak. This page from the Beep Mega Reader Race Rankings highlights reader-scored games, presented like a horse race. The single-hole horse section features overlooked titles like Strider, 7.5096, praised for its easy mode but criticized for slowdowns, and Phantasy Star II, 6.0449, an adequate RPG with dull gameplay. Newcomer showcases promising games. WrestleBall, 7.5942, with strong controls and two-player appeal, and Aeroblasters, 6.969, a solid two-player shooter. Losing Bet Ticket features Altered Beast, 4.456. Criticized for repetitive gameplay and arcade flaws in its port, despite nice graphics. The rankings table includes game ranks and scores, alongside reader participation in a guessing game and submissions. The editor notes reader submissions significantly impact rankings, as seen with WrestleBall's success, and help re-evaluate older games. This page covers a major new game announcement event hosted by Circa S.G. in Sunshine City, Tokyo, following earlier dates in Fukuoka. The event spanned March 24th and 25th, with the 24th designated as a special Users' Day, drawing massive crowds, particularly given it fell on a Sunday. Attendees eagerly gathered from 10 a.m., highlighting the high anticipation for upcoming titles. While the event featured various publishers, including a Super Famicom display that drew attention for the first time, the Sega booth was notably the busiest. The star attraction was undoubtedly Sonic the Hedgehog, shown as a work in progress but eagerly anticipated for a July release. Attendees were keen to get hands-on with Sonic, demonstrating its early buzz. Other Sega games featured included SWAT and Fire Mustang. Namco also had a strong presence, showcasing baseball titles like Gear Stadium and Yaku Daochuki, capitalizing on the baseball season opening. Human presented Fastest One and the Game Gear title Halley Wars. The page features photos of the bustling event floor, players trying out games, and screenshots of titles like Sonic, SWAT, Fire Mustang, Fastest One, and Halley Wars. The article notes that the event was a great opportunity for users to experience upcoming software, and the publishers were keenly observing player reactions to gauge the reception of their new releases. This page unveils some exciting hardware news and industry happenings. Sega is releasing a limited edition white Game Gear console bundled with a carrying case and TV tuner. Primarily a cosmetic update, but a cool package nonetheless. Meanwhile, Atari is launching an updated Lynx handheld, which they're calling the new Lynx, boasting significantly improved battery life, now 5.5 hours, stereo sound, and a more ergonomic design, while retaining compatibility with existing Lynx games. In other news, Kaniko's arcade hit, Gal's Panic, earned an award at the IMA Expo 91 in Germany, a notable achievement for the puzzle shooter. The expo also featured major titles, like Street Fighter II. Finally, Enix is set to launch a new monthly manga magazine, Shonen Gangan, heavily focused on the incredibly popular Dragon Quest series, sure to be essential reading for fans. Sega is also showcasing their diverse lineup at the 91 International Sports Fair, including their Mega Drive and Game Gear titles. This page takes a break from the usual gaming focus to delve into the beauty and cultural significance of cherry blossom viewing, or hanami, in Japan. It highlights that spring is the season for enjoying various flowers, but the focus here is specifically on the iconic cherry blossoms. The page explains that even within the term cherry blossom, there are many varieties, listing major types like the Yamazakura, Mamezakura, and Yoshino cherry. It also features a large table detailing famous cherry blossom viewing spots across Japan, including their location and highlights, though listing every single one isn't necessary. Beyond the locations and types, the article provides a historical and cultural perspective on hanami. It discusses how cherry blossoms have been celebrated since ancient times, appearing in early Japanese literature, and how the practice of viewing them evolved over the centuries into the popular tradition we know today, often involving picnics and gatherings under the trees. It mentions specific historical figures who engaged in elaborate viewing parties and touches upon anecdotes and folklore surrounding the blossoms. There are no games or gaming-related content on this page. This page delves into the various ways people enjoy cherry blossom viewing, or hanami, presenting a fun guide to finding your perfect style. It features a central diagram that plots different hanami activities based on how much they focus on pure flower appreciation versus being an event, and whether the focus is on food or other activities like play. Scenarios depicted range from quietly gazing at the blossoms and enjoying a romantic date under the trees, to more lively affairs like family picnics, indulging in food and drink, and even partying under the night blossoms. Humorous illustrations accompany each scenario, showing people in various states of hanami enjoyment. Notably, there's a section suggesting playing competitive games under the cherry tree, a nod to the magazine's gaming audience. The page playfully acknowledges that while quiet appreciation is one way, many people prefer a more energetic ruckus style of hanami, involving eating, drinking, and having fun with friends, building upon the cultural tradition mentioned on the previous page by exploring its modern interpretations. This page kicks off the new release scramble section, catching up on new software titles. The main focus is the exciting port of the massively popular arcade hit, Raiden, known in Japan as Raiden Densetsu. This vertical scrolling shooter is being brought to the Mega Drive by Micronix, with key involvement from the original arcade developer, Seibu Kaihatsu. The article expresses anticipation for how faithfully the game will be recreated on the console, noting that the developers most knowledgeable about Raiden are working on it, alleviating concerns about the port quality. Screenshots shown are from a development build, but the text praises the graphics for being comparable to the arcade version. It highlights the game's core elements like various shot types, power-ups, guided missiles, and powerful bombs, characteristic of intense vertical shooters. The reviewer notes that while those unfamiliar with the arcade game might not immediately see its appeal just from screenshots, it's a highly regarded title. The article mentions the arcade version has been operating for 10 months and still enjoys immense popularity, which is remarkable in the fast-paced arcade industry. Beyond Raiden, the page lists other upcoming titles including Fire Mustang, Battle Squad, Marvel Land, Fastest One, and Master of Monsters. The screenshots visually confirm the game is a faithful adaptation, showcasing different stages, including a boss battle, and later levels with reportedly high difficulty. The page conveys strong optimism about the quality of the Raiden port, due to the collaboration with the original developer. This page dives into Fire Mustang, Taito's upcoming World War II-themed vertical scrolling shooter for the Mega Drive, scheduled for a May 31st release. It's a port of the arcade game USAF Mustang, putting you in the cockpit of a Mustang fighter plane to battle across global fronts. The game keeps power-ups straightforward, focusing on a primary shot upgrade that expands from two-way to three-way fire, and a limited special weapon called Forcer. The article highlights the first two missions. Mission 1 takes place in Germany/Normandy, where you intercept a large German transport plane attempting to deliver troops. You'll encounter ground forces and fighter escorts. Mission 2 shifts the focus to the Pacific, specifically the Trunk Islands, pitting you against the Japanese Navy and Air Force, culminating in a fight against a large bomber ship. Screenshots showcase the game's graphics, item pickups like the item transport helicopter and the miniature Mustang 1-up, and the bosses for these initial stages. The reviewer notes the cool explosion and enemy destruction effects, and emphasizes that despite the simple power-ups, pilot skill is crucial for success in this realistic combat setting. They offer tips like grabbing items early and strategically positioning against bosses. This page introduces Master of Monsters, a fantasy simulation game coming to the Mega Drive from Toshiba Emi. This title, originally a popular PC game, puts you in the role of one of 5 masters, powerful wizards vying for control of a demonic throne using armies of summoned monsters. It's described as having a system similar to great strategy games, but set in a rich fantasy world with unique units like dragons, giants, and elementals, instead of modern military hardware. The game offers 2 modes, a scenario-based map mode for competitive play, and a continuous campaign mode for a solo experience. Masters are aligned with law, chaos, or neutral, and specialize in summoning monsters accordingly. A major highlight of the Mega Drive version is the animated, immersive combat sequences between monsters, showcasing the system's power. The article also praises the game's AI, noted for being faster than previous simulation titles, making the game more accessible even for simulation newcomers. Screenshots show the hexagonal strategy map, detailed unit statistics, a list of available magic spells, and exciting combat scenes featuring monsters like the dragon and minotaur. Capturing towers is shown as a key strategic element. Overall, the reviewer is impressed by the depth, presentation, and accessibility of this fantasy strategy title. This page features Namco's upcoming action game, Marvel Land. Originally a popular arcade title from 1989, this Mega Drive port places you in an athletic amusement park setting as Prince Pico. Your mission is to navigate rides, traps, and unique enemies to rescue 4 guardian spirits. The story details the once peaceful Coneyland amusement park, protected by fairies, until the Mole King Maul, driven by jealousy, imprisoned the spirits and took over. Prince Pico of the Dragon People, hearing of this, embarks on the adventure to save the spirits and his childhood friend, Princess Luxie. Gameplay involves classic platforming elements like jumping on enemies to defeat them, special items like the Doppelganger, which creates copies of Pico to attack, and the Wing, allowing higher jumps and slow descent, aid in your journey. The game features 4 worlds, plus additional areas, totaling 32 stages, significantly more than the arcade version. Each world culminates in a boss battle, described as unique and varied, such as the showdown against the Great Condor in World 1. The article highlights the game's charming, often humorous enemy designs, and notes the port includes the arcade's rotation effects, making it a faithful adaptation. Overall, the game is presented as a fun, accessible action title, with particular appeal to a younger audience. Screenshots showcase vibrant gameplay, character illustrations, and boss encounters. 2 upcoming Mega Drive games are previewed. Uchu Senkan Gamora is a vertical shooter where you pilot the Gamora battleship, battling enemies with standard shots and a stationary beam cannon. A 2-player cooperative mode is included. The reviewer notes its unique gameplay is ideal for players seeking a different shooter experience. Fastest One is an F1 racing game sequel, updated with 1991 season data, including tracks, teams, and drivers. Championship mode allows competitive racing with rival teams, offering battery backup for progress saving. The Mega Drive version supports 2 players, featuring updated tracks like Phoenix, Silverstone, and the Spanish GP circuit. The reviewer suggests it's an exciting title for Fly 1 fans. This page continues the Mega Hot Menu feature, diving back into the dungeon-crawling RPG Shining in the Darkness. Following up from the previous installment, this section provides a narrative recap leading the hero towards the Trial of the Gods, the next major challenge in the game. The story covers the initial disappearance of Princess Claire, and the subsequent investigation by the hero. Screenshots show the player exploring dark dungeons, encountering monsters, and finding important items like the princess's crown. The narrative explains how the hero learns he must pass the trial to proceed, and is tasked by the king to gather companions in the town. The article highlights key characters who join the party: Marlin, an elf girl met in the tavern, and Bilbo, a hobbit boy found in the church. These companions are described as trusted childhood friends. The immediate objective is to acquire spirits, located within 4 caves, which are the keys to entering the underground labyrinth that serves as the trial's stage. The page concludes by posing the question of whether the 3 adventurers can pass the trial of the gods. The next page presents the map for the first floor of the ancient shrine, which is the labyrinth serving as the stage for the trial of the gods in Shining in the Darkness. The text explains that this floor contains stairs leading to 4 caves, and many powerful adventurers have attempted this trial, but only the hero and their 2 companions remain. The detailed grid map, labeled with coordinates 130 vertically and horizontally, shows the layout of the first level. The entrance and exit are marked at the bottom left, identified as Southern Coordinate 1, Eastern Coordinate 1. This map is crucial for navigating the trial and finding the path to the 4 caves mentioned previously. This page dives into the Cave of Courage, one of the trials in Shining in the Darkness. The goal is explicitly stated as being far away, and the text warns that MP will drain quickly even without using magic frequently due to numerous encounters. This means you'll heavily rely on healing herbs and won't be able to use flashy magic when in a tough spot. It emphasizes the need to constantly check your inventory and MP them. The main visual is a detailed map of the Cave of Courage, showing the layout with coordinates labeled 1 through 30 along both axes. The entrance is marked at the bottom left, at coordinates 1, 1. Below the map is a monster guide, featuring small screenshots and brief descriptions of creatures you'll encounter. It covers monsters like the Dark Dwarf, known for calling allies, the Mego, which can lower defense, the Orc, which can boost its own defense, the Minotaur, which frequently uses quick but with little effect, the Roper, which can put you to sleep or paralyze you, the Mad Slug, whose burning breath is just a level 2 spell, the mysterious Hitotsum Cube, and the Axebeak, who seems out of place. The reviewer notes some of their quirky traits and attacks, giving players a heads-up on what to expect. The next page provides further details for navigating the Cave of Courage in Shining in the Darkness. The central feature is a large, detailed map of the dungeon floor, complete with east and south coordinates ranging from 1 to 30, allowing players to plot their path precisely through the labyrinthine layout. A helpful tip section titled, "People Bad with Directions Aren't Welcome Here," warns players about a direction-changing trap, familiar to veterans of games like Wizardry. If you feel disoriented, using Merlin's project spell is recommended to avoid unnecessary wandering. The article emphasizes that while the goal is deep within, the shortest route is straightforward if you follow the map, and advises caution with treasure chests if you value your life. Below the map is a monster guide showcasing creatures encountered on this level. It includes descriptions and small images of foes like the Mummy, the elusive Bogle, the Serpentine Naga, the Standard/Bat, the status-inflicting Matango, the uniquely depicted Kelpie, the basic Sorcerer, the numerous Jacko Killer, and the hard-hitting Bigfoot, offering insights into their abilities and challenges. This page continues the exploration of the Cave of Courage, also known as the Cave of Patience. It features a large, detailed map of the dungeon floor, complete with a coordinate grid system using south and east axes from 1 to 30, helping players navigate the intricate layout. The text highlights that this is the final dungeon, filled with cunning traps designed to frustrate the player, which are not visible and are only confirmed by stepping on them. However, it also mentions that countermeasures are in place, suggesting thorough exploration will reveal how to handle them. Below the map is a detailed monster guide for this area, featuring creatures like the Tarantula, Sorcerer, Cockatrice, Moa, Lizardman, Smoke, possibly referring to a specific enemy type like Golem or Elementals in the English version, Labyrinth Runner, and Myconid. The descriptions offer hints about their abilities, such as the Tarantula's movement restricting webs, the Sorcerer's offensive magic, the Cockatrice's surprising HP, the Moa's dangerous group attack, the Lizardman's defense buff, the Labyrinth Runner's powerful kick, and the Myconid's ability to multiply. Bonanza Bros. On the Sega Mega Drive, developed by Sega and released on May 17 for 6,000 yen, is a 4 megabit action game and a faithful port of the arcade version. Players can choose to play solo or cooperatively. The game features large, branching stages where cooperation can save time and reduce risk, though a less skilled partner might hinder progress. Players control the Bonanza Bros, righteous thieves tasked with stealing treasure from criminals in Bad Town as proof of their misdeeds. Their policy is, don't kill, don't rob inhabitants. The Mega Drive port features 10 stages, 2 less than the arcade version. However, coffee break-style demo scenes compensate for this. Screenshots showcase the game's unique side-scrolling, multi-layered perspective, and the two burglar protagonists navigating levels. The review is enthusiastic about the gameplay and the game's unique features. The next page delves deeper into the mechanics and flow of Bonanza Bros. Introducing the two protagonists, Nopo, the tall one, and Debut, the round ones. Despite not looking alike, they're a formidable pair, wanted with a $100 bounty. Their key abilities and how to use them are detailed. You'll learn about the 8-directional movement, essential for navigating levels, ascending stairs, and grabbing loot. Hiding against walls is key for avoiding detection. The shot button fires a shotgun that stuns guards, but ammo is limited, so use it wisely. You can also use doors as a weapon, opening them with a shot to potentially stun a guard on the other side, though you risk getting crushed yourself. Stealing treasure is straightforward, just walk up and grab it, whether it's from a safe or lying around. Jumping is useful for platforms and reaching high treasure, but attempting to dodge bullets with it is tricky. Sidestepping is often safer. The page outlines the typical mission structure. Receive a briefing, collect the 4 designated treasures in the stage, and exit. You have a strict 3-minute time limit per stage. Failing to complete the mission in time results in losing a life and restarting, adding urgency to the thieving escapades. The screenshots illustrate these actions and the game's unique multi-layered perspective. This page details the various enemies you'll encounter in Bonanza Bros. Each type has distinct characteristics and behaviors. There are different types of guards, including blue ones who call for help and use batons, purple ones who engage in gunfights, and green ones who seem more easily startled. Some guards are tougher to take down or have unique reactions when surprised. Mob cops are heavily armored with shields, making frontal assaults risky. Their shield stance can reveal openings when they change direction, offering a chance to strike. They can be found guarding key areas and reacting aggressively. Rare dogs appear docile but will fiercely attack intruders. Some might be sleeping, making stealth a viable option, but others are constantly alert. Their unique knockout sound is noted as surprisingly cute. The Muscle Man is a tough opponent who requires multiple shots to subdue and even throws bombs, adding a dangerous element to his patrols. He's described as having a sadistic nature. Finally, the cooks are ordinary citizens in the kitchen. Seeing an intruder startles them, causing them to drop plates. While usually harmless, some tougher cooks might actually throw plates at you. Understanding these different enemy types and their patterns is crucial for successfully navigating the levels. This guide provides early strategies for successful heists in Bonanza Bros. Stage 1, the Trading House, is a simple introduction, requiring the collection of 4 items. Mastering basic items like the gun and scissors is crucial. 2 key techniques are highlighted. The first teaches bypassing guards by timing your movement to slip past them. The second, Scroll Out, advises outrunning pursuers, including armored mob cops, to force them to reset their patrol route by moving them off-screen. Stage 2, the Mansion of a Millionaire, introduces increased difficulty with a larger layout and traps like cola cans that cause slips and alert guards. This guide continues the Bonanza Bros walkthrough with stages 3 and 4, introducing key techniques. Stage 3, set in a casino, is guarded by numerous mob cops. Strategic use of roof springs for invulnerable escapes is recommended. Technique 3, the jump shortcut, allows you to leap directly to the second stair step, improving ascent speed. Technique 4, quick descent of stairs, instructs players to drop from the edge when descending the last 3 steps, saving time and avoiding guards. Stage 4 takes place in the printing plant, where the objective is to steal counterfeit bills and printing plates. This expansive stage benefits from cooperative play. Printing press machines can be used to stun enemies and score points. This page features the 3rd installment of the column Game Designer's Domain by Naoto Makura, which delves into the effective uses of automatic generation to create potentially endless game worlds. The author discusses how procedural content generation can lead to games that offer constant freshness and avoid repetition, like the concept of an endless candy where you never run out. He explores various applications of automatic generation, such as creating character lineages and descendants, dynamically generating game scenarios, environmental elements similar to titles like Sim City, and even monsters or adventure stages in RPGs. The column touches on the complexities and challenges involved in implementing robust automatic generation systems, and reflects on the potential for making games more dynamic and engaging, suggesting that the key to future innovation might lie in making many game elements procedurally generated. This page features the TV game market frontline column by game critic Jam Ojisan, also known as Yoshimi Yasuda. In this fifth installment, the focus is on Data East's expansion into the Mega Drive market. The column takes the form of an interview between Jam Ojisan and Mr. Takeuchi from Data East's consumer sales department. They discuss Data East's extensive 15-year history in video games, primarily in the arcade sector, and their perspective on entering the home console market with the Mega Drive. Mr. Takeuchi notes that porting their arcade games to the Mega Drive feels like a close match to their previous experiences. A significant point of conversation revolves around what makes a compelling home console game, emphasizing the critical role of fluid animation and dynamic movement as a key factor in capturing player interest and value. Data East titles like Midnight Resistance, Chelnov, Atomic Runner, and Edward Randy are mentioned in the context of their work and potential future releases. This page continues the interview with Data East's Mr. Takeuchi, discussing their approach to the Mega Drive. The conversation covers the importance of adjustable difficulty settings so all players can see the ending, and the desire to port classic arcade titles like Gate of Doom to the Mega Drive. Data East is evaluating the hardware landscape, including the Mega Drive's place against the Super Famicom, aiming to create games that appeal widely, rather than just to hardcore enthusiasts. Screenshots feature Data East's Mega Drive releases, Midnight Resistance, and RoboCop 2, with RoboCop 2 specifically noted for adding a two-player mode. Game critic Jam Ojisan concludes the segment with a passionate message, expressing high expectations for Data East's future contributions to the Mega Drive library. Brief summary. Interview discusses Data East's Mega Drive strategy, including difficulty, porting hits like Gate of Doom and RoboCop 2, and targeting broad appeal, with high anticipation from the interviewer. This page is the Beeple Land Letters section, where readers share their thoughts. This month's discussion centers around the Namco sports game, Rexel Ball, released in February 1991. The reviews from readers are varied but generally positive. Initially, some were skeptical, questioning why Namco released this instead of more traditional sports titles. However, after playing, opinions shifted, with many finding the game surprisingly fun and refreshing. It's described as a unique mix of wrestling, soccer, and American football, incorporating both physical combat and tactical elements. Reviewers appreciated Namco's effort in creating an original title, while some mentioned issues like small, hard-to-use characters, confusing moments, or low in-game music volume. The excitement and enjoyment, especially in two-player mode, were frequently highlighted. The game's blend of genres and chaotic fun earned it high praise from many readers, with some expressing a desire for a sequel. Finally, the page announces that the theme for the July issue will be the major RPG, Shining and the Darkness. This page features the reader submission corner titled Game Review Corner, and a section for reader illustrations. The Game Review Corner includes reader feedback on several titles. One reader praises Gaiaras for its fresh gameplay, noting it avoids being a typical shooter, and highlights its significant challenge and limited continues, suggesting it's for dedicated players. Another reader expresses anticipation for Battle Golfers after acquiring it. Further comments touch on Dog Race, likely a previous topic, acknowledging a sharp review, and mention purchasing Aeroblasters. A notable piece of gossip mentions Kaneko is potentially planning a sequel to a game for the Mega Drive. The lower part of the page showcases reader illustrations depicting various games and characters. These include artwork related to Rexel Ball, Zero Wing, Shining in the Darkness, Dick Tracy, Lagrange Point, and Heavy Unit. One illustration humorously depicts the excitement of finally buying a PlayStation console, highlighting reader interest across different gaming platforms. This page continues the reader feedback section, Kimi kai ni itai. Readers write in with questions and comments about various Mega Drive topics. One reader asks about Genesis compatibility with Japanese Mega Drive games, citing issues with titles like Clax, potentially due to the cartridge slot door mechanism, although they note Populous worked. There's also a query about a Game Gear controller adapter. Feedback on the standard Mega Drive controller is shared, with one player finding it subpar, especially for action games, and suggesting this could be hindering the system's popularity. Fans of Sorcerian express a strong desire for additional scenarios, and propose an innovative idea to distribute them using a modem. The editors find this suggestion compelling. The Bin Talk section features a photo and letters. One reader notes the striking resemblance between characters in Super Monaco GP and Battle Golfer, and expresses interest in obtaining Bahamut Senki. Another letter asks about a character's likeness in Shining in the Darkness, with the editor confirming it resembles Girius. A reader also points out a potential typo on the box of the game Telltale Stadium. This page features a mix of reader content and magazine announcements. The top left showcases the Theater MD Kun 4-panel manga, offering humorous takes on Mega Drive life. Below that is the Apologies for the April Issue section, where corrections are made. For instance, the price for Midnight Resistance was incorrectly listed as 6,800 yen, but was actually 7,800 yen. Also, a feature on Terra was mistakenly described as ported to, when it should have referred to a Clidrom version. The BeepLand submission section outlines various ways readers can contribute, from debating specific themes, sharing opinions on games, general chit-chat, to submitting illustrations like the MD Kun manga. The right side of the page is dominated by the announcement of prize winners from the March issue, listing numerous lucky readers who won various Mega Drive games and other items like posters. This section highlights the range of games being given away as prizes that month. This page is part of the ongoing feature, Takanawa Kenzin Taisu Club, Suspicious Exploration Team Kanpachi Edition, which seems to document strange and interesting places found around Tokyo. The first location visited is a shop called Geimuyua in Edogawa Ward. While seemingly a game shop, its appearance from a distance is deemed suspicious. The building also houses a Lup snack bar upstairs. An odd catchphrase adorns the exterior: dreams for children, childlike innocence for adults. A striking image is of a character machine outside, seemingly interacting with a passerby, with a speech bubble containing a rather rude comment directed at them. The exploration continues with a look at the bizarre side of a building featuring simple, face-like drawings. There's also a short, humorous dialogue section titled Bob and Sam's Banzai this month, featuring seemingly nonsensical conversation between the two characters, accompanied by a drawing of children. Finally, the team discovers another peculiar establishment with a sign advertising golf, karaoke prizes, souvenirs for the countryside, video, books. The author expresses confusion about this strange combination, especially the inclusion of video and books as Tokyo souvenirs. A smaller note clarifies that the video selection appears to be adult videos, adding another layer to the shop's peculiar offerings. The overall tone is one of amused bewilderment at the strange sights encountered. This page kicks off the Yorozu Trend Communication Corner, which highlights interesting things happening around. This installment features a prank involving messing with a keyboard layout, starting with the unsuspecting editor-in-chief. Another section, Healthy Human Language, is presented as a corner to improve mind and body, introduced by the editor responsible for this page. The page also includes a quick review of a Bisco snack in a mini size with strawberry cream flavor. Additionally, there's a write-up about a trip to Kasai Rinkai Park and Aquarium, detailing the location and experience. Finally, the page includes application guidelines for submitting content to the magazine's various corners, listing some of the past and present features like the Suspicious Exploration Team, and inviting readers to send in their ideas or discoveries. This page from volume 18 of the magazine dives deep into the world of Mega Drive sound, specifically referencing a sound shock concept and a commemorative CD related to the Mega Drive Academy Awards. The article highlights the unique audio capabilities of the console, particularly the power of its FM sound source compared to competitors of the era. It discusses how the FM chip developed by Yamaha was widely used in various audio applications, including arcades and synthesizers, and how its implementation on the Mega Drive, featuring an OPN-type chip capable of generating multiple simultaneous voices, delivered a significant audio impact. The page presents the results of the Mega Drive Music Awards, ranking games based on reader votes. The top vote-getter was the Super Shinobi, followed by Thunder Force 2 Eyes, Vermilion, and Sorcerian. Other high-ranking titles included Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, Phantasy Star, 2 Eyes, and Phelios. Furthermore, the page lists the specific tracks included on the commemorative CD, featuring selections from titles like The Super Shinobi, Vermilion, Phantasy Star 2 Eye, Super Monaco GP, Afterburner 2, Golden Axe, Assault Suits, Lanos, Columns, and Truxton. There is also a brief mention of another related CD release, Beep! Mega Drive Best Selection. The article expresses enthusiasm for the Mega Drive's audio, emphasizing its role in creating immersive gaming experiences. This page features a game music CD review section, covering several new releases. First up is the Namco Games Sound Express Volume 4, highlighting music from Dragon Saber, the sequel to Dragon Spirit. The review notes the shift to PCM sound, allowing for deeper, richer audio. It includes both original and arranged tracks, maintaining the world of the original game while presenting new music. Next, we have the soundtrack for Gorbachev's Pipeline Plan. The reviewer finds the music surprisingly interesting, incorporating classical pieces like Swan Lake and Pictures at an Exhibition, blended with breakbeats, house, and techno arrangements. It's described as a modern arrangement style. The Cytron Video Game Music Almanac 1990 No 1/2 is presented as a best-of collection from Cytron, featuring a selection of tracks across 2 discs. One disc contains arranged versions from titles such as Winning Run and Marvel Land, while the other features original sound from multiple games. It's suggested as a good album for those who couldn't afford previous releases. Finally, there's the Street Fighter II album by Alf Lyra. Formerly, this 2-disc release from Capcom includes arrangements of Street Fighter II and other titles like Magic Sword, plus a collection of sound effects. The review mentions the band's name change and the inclusion of a logo sticker. Overall, the page reviews a diverse set of game music releases, showcasing the evolving sounds of the arcade and console scene, including the impact of technologies like PCM discussed previously. This page is a mail-order catalog offering various game consoles and software. It features a selection of systems including the Famicom, Game Boy, PC Engine variants like the CoreGraph X and SuperGraph X, the portable PC Engine GT, the Game Gear, the PC Engine CD-ROM Squared system, and the Mega Drive. The consoles are listed with their regular price and a special mail-order price. Below the consoles, a wide variety of games are listed by system. For the Mega Drive, you can find titles like SWAT, Whip Rush, and XDR, each listed at 1,900 yen, Bahamut Senki and Monster Hunter Girls at 4,600 yen and 4,400 yen respectively, and classics such as Shining in the Darkness and Mystic Defender. Games are also available for other platforms like the Famicom, featuring titles such as Gradius 2i and Final Fight, Game Gear games like Super Monaco GP, and various PC Engine titles, including CD-ROM Squared games like YS2i. Many games are listed with their sale price, often significantly discounted from the original price. The page also includes sections detailing how to place an order via telephone and guidelines for payment, noting costs for shipping based on the number of items. Contact information and phone numbers for ordering are provided. This seems to be a direct sale offering from the company named Hop. This page is part of the Mega Hot Menu Part 2, serving up previews of the latest games. The focus here is entirely on Toaplan's legendary horizontal shooter, Zero Wing. The article notes the game was originally scheduled for release earlier, but faced a slight delay, pushing it back about a month. Despite the setback, the magazine assures readers they've played up to the 4th stage for this preview. Described as a super strategic shooting game, Zero Wing is a faithful port of the arcade classic to the Mega Drive. The text highlights that it accurately reproduces the arcade experience, and even includes the original opening demo, a nice touch for fans. The operability is praised, suggesting even those who mastered it in the arcades will be satisfied. A breakdown of the game's weapon system is provided, showcasing the standard Vulcan, the powerful laser, the tracking homing shots, and the signature prisoner beam. The prisoner beam is singled out as being almost like a second weapon itself, capable of grabbing most small enemies. Once captured, these enemies can be used defensively as a temporary shield or strategically as a weapon, a unique mechanic that sets Zero Wing apart. The article includes screenshots demonstrating the effects of these different weapons. This page dives deeper into the early stages of Zero Wing, starting with a breakdown of Stage 1. It emphasizes that this is a warm-up stage, encouraging players to experiment with the powerful prisoner beam, which can capture most enemies. The article strongly advises grabbing all power-up items, especially options, which make destroying ground targets easy. The homing weapon is recommended for its efficiency, as shots track enemies even while you focus on dodging. Picking up the super bomber is also crucial for later use. The next section covers the mid-boss, described as being tough enough to be mistaken for a main boss. It fires shots in all directions constantly, and also launches homing fireballs. The recommended strategy is to stay mobile, use the homing weapon, and utilize the super bomber if things get difficult. The reviewer warns that struggling here means the rest of the game, including clearing Stage 1, will be challenging. Finally, the page introduces the Stage 1 boss, Hades, who attacks with scattering ring shots. The strategy suggested is to confront it from the left side of the screen. The homing weapon is again recommended, allowing you to focus on dodging the dense bullet patterns. A small safe zone is noted near the boss's head, but only if you remain stationary. The ring shots are described as a wave-like attack, cautioning against getting too close. The overall tone is that even Stage 1 presents a significant challenge, emphasizing the importance of mastering weapons and dodging. This page continues the Zero Wing Guide, focusing on Stage 2, which is significantly more difficult than Stage 1. It highlights new challenges like indestructible ground objects and tougher enemies appearing in greater numbers. The article stresses the importance of capturing enemies for defense, especially for newcomers, and using the bomber enemy effectively. Enemies now appear in formations. While homing or laser weapons are recommended for navigating the stage, the Vulcan weapon will make it considerably harder. Players are advised to be cautious when collecting power-up items. The check section warns about obstacles in Stage 2, noting there's no mid-boss but introducing the challenging pole zone. These are indestructible barriers that narrow the path, and the guide cautions against being misled by your options movement near them, as it can lead to quick death. Screenshots illustrate the tight passages. Finally, the boss section reveals that the Stage 2 boss, Gia, appears as 2 units. The strategy suggests quickly defeating the first one upon its appearance, ideally using a bomber. If both appear, the fight becomes much tougher, and the recommendation is to keep distance and engage the bosses from the left side of the screen. Screenshots show the bosses appearing individually and together. This page continues the Zero Wing Guide, moving on to Stage 3, titled Narrow Passages, Moving Floors. Unlike the previous stage, Stage 3 is described as an athletic stage right from the start, filled with intricate, narrow passages that feel like a maze, requiring careful navigation. A key challenge highlighted is that collecting too many speed items can actually be detrimental here, leading to collisions with walls due to excessive speed. Mastering controller movement is crucial, especially for navigating around obstacles and destroying moving floors to progress. Screenshots show the ship navigating tight corridors. The guide then covers the mid-boss, named Bulldozer. It attacks with 5-way shots and lasers. The pattern is noted as similar to the Stage 1 mid-boss, making it relatively easy to dodge. Its weakness is its 6 cores. Destroying these defeats it. Screenshots show the mid-boss and its core points. Finally, the main boss for Stage 3 is a giant robot called Ganser 603. It uses lasers and normal shots, but the guide warns that when it moves to the center of the screen, it starts firing large fireballs. The strategy suggested is to fight it from the upper part of the screen. Screenshots depict the boss in the narrow passage leading up to it and during combat. This page continues the guide for Zero Wing, covering Stage 4. It highlights the appearance of a giant battleship and notes the enemy attacks become more intense, recommending effective use of the prisoner beam. A unique point is the mention of a hidden character, Pipiruse, who gives bonus points if you continuously shoot the prisoner beam in a specific empty spot. Players are cautioned about enemies appearing suddenly from below. Stage 4 is noted as the shortest in the game. The guide then details the Stage 4 boss, which separates from the battleship to attack with homing and multi-directional shots. It's described as not significantly different from previous bosses, with the suggestion to use homing attacks against it. Screenshots show the boss separating and its appearance during battle. Additionally, there is a Toplan message corner where the developer addresses fan feedback. They respond to concerns about abandoning the Mega Drive, reassuring fans of their commitment despite exploring possibilities on other platforms like PC Engine and PC to reach a wider audience. They discuss the challenges and trade-offs in porting games to different hardware while trying to maintain the original fun. Touching upon design choices like the Mega Drive version's wide shot, they welcome fan feedback on all aspects, including package design. This page dives into the prehistoric pinball action of Dinoland on the Sega Mega Drive. This game takes the classic pinball formula and injects it with a vibrant dinosaur theme. Players control flippers to send a special ball, the dinosaur character Dinokun, bouncing around the table to hit various targets, which are often other dinosaurs. A neat twist is that Dinokun can transform into a full dinosaur during the intense boss stages. The game features 3 distinct fields, each with its own unique atmosphere and design. The standard land field, the darker depths of the seafloor, and the ethereal sky field played high above the clouds. Progressing through the fields leads to challenging boss battles. The land field features a bulky, monstrous dinosaur boss. The seafloor is guarded by a giant hermit crab, and the sky boss is a formidable pteranodon. It looks like a solid pinball experience with a fun, thematic twist. This page shifts focus from the prehistoric pinball action of Dinoland to provide context by exploring the rich history of pinball itself. It explains that pinball is a traditional game with over half a century of history, starting in 1931 with games like Ballyhoo. Early games were simpler, using a plunger to score points by landing the ball in certain spots. Electrical features, like kickers, were introduced in the early 1930s. The first decade saw the development of essential parts like tilt mechanisms, backglasses, score displays, bumpers, and rollover lanes. A pivotal moment came in the late 1940s with the introduction of flippers, transforming pinball from a simple game of chance into one requiring skill. The 1950s brought score reels, enabling multiple players, and the multi-ball feature. The 1960s were a golden age of feature development, adding extra balls, drop targets, spinners, and more. While video games emerged in the 1970s, pinball evolved too, introducing solid-state electronic machines with LED displays, making them more complex. Later developments included multi-level playfields and enhanced features, ensuring pinball's continued evolution and enjoyment for fans. The page includes a timeline charting key events in pinball history, and images showing vintage machines, illustrating the journey from simple mechanical games to the sophisticated machines that led to games like Dinoland. This page serves as an evocative splash page introducing a new game feature or review. The dominant image is a dramatic scene of a large battleship battling rough seas and airborne attackers. Flames erupt from the ship, and thick black smoke billows into the sky, while aircraft, including a prominent fighter plane resembling a P-51 Mustang, swoop in. The title is prominently displayed in large pink letters as Fire, overlaying the chaotic naval engagement, with additional Japanese text on the right spelling out Fea Fire. At the top left, the Taito logo is visible with their slogan, Catch the Heart. This imagery strongly suggests a game focused on intense naval combat. The game featured is Taito's warship, known as Fire Warship in Japan. The page focuses on setting the scene rather than providing detailed information, highlighting the action and scale of the game's theme. This page presents an announcement for Taito's game, Armored Squadron DX, known as Mustang in Japan. The dynamic artwork features a P-51 Mustang fighter plane engaging tanks in a desert setting, emphasizing intense aerial combat. Text on the page promotes the game as the popular arcade hit Mustang arriving on the Mega Drive, promising a realistic recreation of famous World War II aircraft and an unmatched sense of presence, urging players to shoot, shoot, shoot away! It includes information about the game's scheduled release date of May 31st, with an estimated price of 6,800 yen. The page also displays the Taito logo and copyright information. This page features a special report on the Sega Terra, a fascinating IBM-compatible personal computer with built-in Sega Mega Drive hardware. First announced in October and expected to launch between April and June, this article provides a detailed look at the main unit. Highlights include the Mega Drive cartridge slot, where cartridges insert horizontally unlike the traditional vertical method, allowing you to play your games. There's also mention of a planned Crydrom expansion slot on the front, and a modem connector on the back. A slide switch lets you toggle between MD and PC modes, though this causes a reset. The system comes standard with a control pad, usable even for PC cursor control, with settings available in a setup menu. The Terra boasts a built-in FM sound source for enjoying game audio in stereo via a stereo phone jack. Illustrated alongside the text is a pink humanoid figure seemingly reaching out to the expanding world of software, along with the Sega controller, keyboard, and cartridge slot, showcasing the machine's dual nature. This page continues the deep dive into the Sega Terra, an innovative system bridging the gap between Sega Mega Drive gaming and IBM PC compatibility. Here, the focus shifts to the peripherals and storage options. The article highlights the dedicated display unit, which is said to be released alongside the main Terra units. It supports VGA and can display 256 colors out of a possible 262,144. And you can even connect it to a TV. Storage options are detailed, explaining that the hard disk drive configurations vary across the three models. The base model uses floppy disks, while the hard disk model features a built-in 30 MB drive. For floppy drives, the system supports both 2 HD and 2 DD disks, specifically mentioning compatibility with 1.44 MB and 720 kilobits formats, noting a difference from standard PC-98 machines of the time. The keyboard is highlighted as an IBM Japanese standard keyboard. Interestingly, it mentions that while 13 different types of keyboards are available internationally, this standard one is the main focus. But it also notes that keyboards aren't heavily used for games. Finally, the mouse is shown and described as connecting to the front of the unit, enhancing operability for IBM software. A page features illustrations of the Terra components and a playful cat and wolf-like character interacting with the text, adding a touch of the magazine's characteristic style. This page delves further into the Sega Terra, discussing user considerations and the system's capabilities. Price is mentioned as a key concern, with expectations that the Terra will be set lower than the competing PC 9800 series. The article emphasizes that beyond MegaDrive titles, the Terra offers a distinct gaming experience by running IBM PC software. To facilitate this, the system supports the standard MegaDrive controller, keyboard, and mouse. The familiar MegaDrive controller comes included, with 2 ports on the front, allowing for competitive play. Importantly, this controller can also be used for PC games, with a dedicated Sega utility to configure button layouts. The keyboard and mouse connect to the front right. Internally, the Terra is powered by both the MegaDrive 68000 CPU and the IBM PS2's 80286 CPU, enabling data compatibility between the two sides. You can switch between the MegaDrive and PC displays via a front switch, but note that this action triggers a system reset. Simultaneous display on a TV and monitor is also possible. This page focuses on the Sega Terra's video and audio capabilities, highlighting the advantages of its PC side. A major point is the support for VGA graphics, which the article explains provides a significantly higher resolution and more colors. 640 by 480 with 256 colors out of 262,144, compared to the standard PC 9800 640 by 400 with 16 colors out of 4,096. This richer color depth and smooth gradations make simulations and other graphics-intensive software look much better. On the audio front, the Terra offers stereo sound via a front headphone jack and rear output terminals, enhancing the game audio experience. The rear panel is equipped with standard PC ports, including printer, serial, RS-232C, and parallel ports, showing its PC compatibility. The article notes the presence of a MegaDrive video output on the back, allowing connection to a standard TV. The Terra also features an internal expansion slot, primarily intended for a MIDI soundboard, offering a different audio experience than the built-in FM sound. The article mentions the limited availability of MIDI boards at the time and expresses hope for third-party support. Software-wise, the Terra supports Japanese DOS/Versus and the recently released Windows 3.0, improving usability. The reviewer feels the Terra, with its emphasis on expandability and PC-AT compatibility, is positioned as more than just a dedicated game machine, and its upcoming release is highly anticipated. The bottom of the page shows 2 models, one equipped with 2 floppy disk drives and a more powerful model featuring a 30 MB hard disk. This page dives into the vast software library available for IBM PC/AT compatible machines, highlighting it as a major advantage of the Sega Terra's PC capabilities. The article emphasizes that there's an overwhelming number of games, many of which are international titles not yet ported to Japanese domestic machines. Because the Terra is compatible and supports VGA graphics from the start, players can enjoy these cutting-edge games immediately, even if they are in English. The feature then focuses on popular simulation games, particularly those from Maxis. SimCity is introduced as a highly innovative city-building simulation where the player acts as a mayor, managing development, balancing residential, commercial, and industrial zones, and dealing with issues like pollution and traffic. Screenshots showcase the city view and real-time data displays. Following this, SimEarth is presented as Maxis's next major simulation, but on a much grander scale. Simulating an entire planet, players can manipulate aspects from planetary tilt and atmospheric composition to ecosystems. Screenshots show global views and complex data screens. The reviewer notes the depth requires some expert knowledge, but playing can be rewarding, especially reflecting on the importance of life and the potential for environmental destruction. The article concludes by stating that all the featured software in this section is in English. This page continues exploring the impressive software library available on the IBM PC/AT side of the Sega Terra, focusing on realistic simulation games that weren't commonly found on domestic Japanese machines at the time. The key here is the commitment to realism, making players feel like they're operating actual vehicles. The first title featured is F-15 Strike Eagle 2 from Microprose, a best-selling flight simulator known for its detailed cockpit and realistic handling. It offers various missions and targets, demanding quick reflexes and strategic thinking. Next up is Red Baron by Dynamics, a fascinating World War I flight simulator that captures the era's spirit, inspired by historical figures like the Red Baron. It features multiple camera angles and a replay mode, allowing players to relive their aerial dogfights. Microprose returns with Um-1 Tank Platoon, a highly detailed simulation of the Um-1 Abrams tank. Featured during the Gulf War, this game boasts incredibly accurate instrumentation and crew station views. The reviewer notes the realism can be quite intense and even a bit intimidating. Finally, we look at Silent Service 2, another Microprose gem. This WW2 submarine simulation puts you in command of a Kamena submarine tasked with challenging the Japanese fleet, including the mighty Yamato. It's a deep and engaging experience that requires mastering complex controls, but the sense of accomplishment and the crisp VGA graphics are well worth the effort. This page highlights the IBM PC/AT's dominance in realistic simulation games, shifting from flight and tank sims to driving. Test Drive 2 is praised for its advanced 3D graphics and immersive dashboard. Outrun, a faithful port of the arcade classic, even surpasses the Master System version. The review then expands, emphasizing the SIG's genre depth. King's Quest Versus offers a groundbreaking adventure experience with realistic character movement. Dragon's Lair, a classic arcade game, is recreated entirely with computer graphics. Pipe Dream presents a challenging puzzle experience, and Shaky's 3D Pool showcases realistic camera perspectives in a pool simulation, further demonstrating the platform's dedication to simulating reality. The IBM PC is presented as a platform far exceeding the limitations of consoles. Quote, "This page shifts focus to the hardware itself, asking, what is IBM PC? It delves into the world of IBM PC at compatible machines, likely building on the previous discussions about the platform's capabilities. The article seems to explain the concept of PC/AT compatibility and may discuss its significance for specific hardware like Terra, which is highlighted in the vertical title. The page includes images of several classic PC systems from the era. A prominent timeline chart maps the evolution of PC-AT-compatible machines from 1981 to 1991, showing the introduction of key models from IBM, as well as compatible systems from other companies, and even placing these within the context of other major computing platforms of the time like the Macintosh, PC 9801, and X68000. Written by Kyogi Kubo, this part provides a hardware history lesson relevant to understanding the PC landscape of the time. This page dives into the origins and evolution of the IBM PC, starting with IBM's massive scale as a company known as Big Blue. It recounts how IBM made the bold move to declare they would build personal computers, leading to the first PC. The article explains that PC stands for personal computer, and notes how widely successful the original IBM PC became, pointing out its open architecture led many other companies to create compatible machines. The history unfolds through key IBM PC models, like the PC/XT, PC/AT, and the less successful PC-JR in the mid-80s. It also touches on IBM Japan's efforts with series like the JX and PS55, highlighting the challenges of adapting the PC for the Japanese language until the introduction of DOS/V, which allowed widespread Japanese compatibility on PC hardware. The page also features a section asking, what is VGA? It explains VGA as a significant graphics standard for IBM PCs, comparing it to earlier standards like CGA, EGA, and the later XGA. It details the resolutions and color depths supported by these standards, emphasizing the IBM PC's flexibility in graphics through add-in cards, contrasting this with some Japanese systems that had fixed graphics capabilities. Images on the page showcase representative hardware from the era, including an IBM PS55Z desktop and a Toshiba J3100 laptop, a notable PC AT-compatible system in Japan. The content underscores the IBM PC's fundamental role in the history of compatible machines and PC operating systems like DOS. This comparison examines the IBM PC against the Sharp X68000 and NEC PC 9801 popular Japanese computers. The IBM PC dominated in software availability, boasting tens of thousands of games compared to the PC 9801s and the X68000s hundreds. The X68000 excelled graphically with its high resolution and extensive color palette, while the IBM PC, particularly with VGA, offered 256 colors, surpassing the PC 980116. The X68000 also had superior built-in sound, while the IBM PC relied on add-on sound cards. Joystick support was standard on the X68000. Internally, the X68000 used a Motorola 68000 CPU, while the PC 9801 and IBM PC used Intel CPUs up to 486 and DOS variants. The IBM PC's success is attributed to IBM's choice of Intel CPUs. The IBM PC ecosystem's vastness made it difficult to define by a single specification. This page delves into the Sega Terra, asking, "What on earth is it?" The article explains, Terra is a groundbreaking hybrid system combining the Sega Mega Drive with an IBM PC. The Mega Drive side runs at an enhanced 10 MHz, similar to the Sharp X68000 CPU, and can use its game library and peripherals like the CD-ROM. The PC side utilizes an Intel 80286 processor, also at 10 MHz, offering compatibility with IBM PC software, including various floppy disk formats, 5-inch and 3.5-inch, and peripherals like printers and modems. What's truly innovative is the cross-compatibility. You can use a MegaDrive joystick on the PC side, and the PC's keyboard and floppy drives on the MegaDrive side. The article discusses sound, noting the basic IBM PC beep, but highlighting support for FM soundboards and MIDI interfaces, mentioning devices similar to the Sound Blaster for sampling, which dramatically improves audio quality for games. The graphics are VGA compatible, allowing for high-resolution visuals. The reviewer sees Terra as a versatile, promising machine that combines the strengths of both platforms, suggesting it's a strong alternative to traditional Japanese Plinaks, like the PC 9801. The images show the Terra unit with two floppy drives positioned below a monitor, and a closer view highlighting its dual CPU nature, 68,000 and 80,286. The article explores the IBM PC compatibility of the Sega Terra, emphasizing its ability to play PC games unavailable in Japan at the time. This allowed access to genres like realistic car and flight simulations, as well as complex war games. A notable feature was the boss key, enabling quick game hiding. A hard drive was crucial for these games. The text then discusses Windows 3.0, a significant improvement over DOS, noting its VGA support made the English version primary. Requirements like 2 MBs of RAM and a hard disk were mentioned. The introduction of DA/versus enabled Japanese language support, allowing seamless switching between English games and Japanese applications. The reviewer concludes that the Terra, with its DA/versus capabilities, was potentially the strongest game PC ever. This page delves into where to find IBM PC AT-compatible software, especially games, in Japan, noting that shops stocking these were surprisingly few. It highlights 3 specific stores in the Akihabara electric town. First, Laox, the computer museum is featured, describing its game software section on the first floor, which includes imported PC/AT compatible titles alongside Japanese ones. They mention stocking popular Achios software and note plans to expand their IBM game software area, especially with the anticipated release of Terra. Next is TetZone, known for its extensive selection of imported software, making it a go-to spot for overseas titles. They also had a physical display of the Terra machine on their 5th floor, allowing visitors to see the unit firsthand and get the latest information. Finally, Robin Electronics is discussed, a shop slightly off the main street. This store frequently holds demos of IBM game software, particularly highlighting popular flight simulation titles. They specialize in foreign PCs and software, with a focus on IBM machines, and are pushing VGA and MIDI compatibility, seen as crucial for future game quality. The reviewer notes their intent to significantly expand their game software offerings. The text details the search for IBM PC/AT compatible game software in Japan, specifically focusing on the J&P store chain. Several locations are highlighted as key sources. Technoland in Osaka features a dedicated World Computer Software corner with a strong selection of IBM and Macintosh titles, with SimEarth and Test Drive 2i being popular choices. US Land, another Osaka location, is a specialty store for overseas software. The Shibuya store in Tokyo also has a notable IBM game selection, with SimEarth and flight simulations drawing interest. Plus One in Akihabara offers a smaller selection, but includes an ordering service. Finally, the Village Center near Kanda Jimbocho curates a selection of good overseas software, emphasizing IBM games, and also providing hardware and gaming magazines. J&P was actively working to meet the demand for international gaming titles. The next page features two key players in bringing Western PC games to Japan: Sierra Online Japan and Microprose Japan. The top section focuses on Sierra, known for pioneering adventure games with graphics, founded by Ken and Roberta Williams. Their King's Quest series is highlighted for its massive success in the US, and its impressive, movie-like visuals and animation, supporting VGA modes, which was a big deal at the time. They express hope for the Terra system to expand the possibilities for these graphically rich games in Japan. The bottom section covers Microprose, a veteran in simulation games, celebrated for hits like 15 Strike Eagle and Gunship. They brought their expertise in detailed, realistic simulations to Japan, introducing titles for various platforms, including IBM PC. A standout point is Microprose Japan's commitment to providing Japanese manuals, a thoughtful gesture that set them apart from other overseas publishers and showed genuine care for the Japanese player base. They also look forward to Terra's potential to further popularize IBM PC-compatible gaming. Images feature box art for Sid Meier's Railroad Tycoon and F-15 Strike Eagle 2, showcasing the diversity of their simulation offerings. Both companies clearly saw the potential of the Japanese market, especially for PC gaming platforms like Terra mentioned previously, and were actively working to localize and introduce their acclaimed titles. Koji Orihara's Looking from Behind the TV Monitor chronicles his experience at the 12th AOU show in February. The invitation-only event, a harbinger of spring for game developers, featured new arcade titles. At Namco, Orihara was impressed by the 3-screen racer Driver's Eye and the 3D shooter Golly Ghost. Sega's As One Ride Simulator and the release titles Rad Mobile and Quiz Shukudai wo Washurumashita also caught his attention. Orihara, an old game guy, was particularly interested in Senk's ASO 2, Alpha Mission 2. Despite enjoying the games, Orihara felt many companies played it safe, leading to a sense of ordinariness. He attributes this to the growing popularity of home consoles like the Super Famicom, and hopes developers will continue to innovate, even noting the inconvenience of the show's location. This page introduces the Genesis Information Bureau, focusing on the overseas MegaDrive scene. The author recounts a personal experience of going to New York and paying a steep price for the Genesis version of Populous, highlighting the difference in cost and availability compared to back home. The piece delves into the origin and perception of the Genesis name in America, noting its lack of connection to common Japanese references. It then provides a snapshot of the OJUS console market, comparing the shipment numbers of the Genesis against the dominant Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, A key point is the software compatibility between the Japanese Mega Drive and the American Genesis. Despite slight differences in hardware like the CPU and cartridge shape, Genesis games can mostly run on the Mega Drive, which is contrasted with the technical hurdles faced when trying to run Famicom games on an NES or PC Engine games on a TurboGrafx-16 due to differing pin configurations and I/O changes. The article also briefly mentions Sega of America's role in publishing games as a third party. A diagram illustrates the parallel naming conventions between Japan, Mega Drive, Famicom, PC Engine, and the USA, Genesis, NES, TurboGrafx-16, calling it the Japanese Game Machine Naming Battle. This page kicks off by highlighting Electronic Arts as a must-check software developer for the Genesis. It notes Ikealia's extensive library, mentioning past hits like Marble Madness and current ones like Night Shift, and promises news on upcoming Genesis titles. The first game detailed is James Pond, a comical action game from UK developer Millennium, set to release on Genesis in March. The main character, the toy-like James Pond, embarks on 12 missions, starting with rescuing lobsters from the villainous Drive. Maybe. A screenshot from a UK magazine featuring James Pond is shown, underscoring the international connection. The piece also briefly expresses the desire for a Genesis port of Populous, a game previously discussed in the magazine. The page then shifts focus to a masterpiece exploration of EA's fighting game, Budokan, the martial spirit. Building on a previous feature, it encourages players to challenge the game's deep training and practice modes. A key unique element discussed is the KISS system, where players build energy by standing still, then unleash it for increased damage. The journey to the game's climactic Budokan tournament is mentioned, featuring a cast of bizarre and memorable opponents, from a sushi chef to a salaryman. The game's challenging controls and cult status among fighting game enthusiasts are highlighted. This page declares that overseas software can now be yours, proudly announcing that you can finally play Populous on your Mega Drive. Picking up on the discussion from previous pages, it presents two main sections, offering imported software. The first lists Sega Genesis titles, including Electronic Arts Populous and Budokan, the martial spirit, along with other games like Klax, Sword of Sodan, and Battle Squadron. The descriptions highlight genres like action, fighting, and ports of popular arcade titles, noting that some Genesis titles come with Japanese manuals. The second section features Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, software, explaining that these can be played on a Japanese Famicom using a special adapter. Noteworthy titles listed are the early Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest games, The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, Super Mario Bros. 2, USA version, Strider, and Castlevania. These descriptions cover various genres from RPGs to action games. Finally, the page includes details on how to order these imported games via mail, and provides contact information for Messe Sano, the company facilitating these overseas software sales, including their store location and operating hours. This page presents a lecture column by Agi Nihiyaku, delving into the world of games and technology. The author muses on the evolving relationship between games and players, suggesting that games reflect and even influence cultural shifts. They touch upon the idea that national character can be seen in game design, contrasting different approaches, perhaps referencing the discussion of imported games from the previous page. The column highlights the game Diamonds, describing it as a unique, block-breaking puzzle game. It moves beyond simple block destruction by incorporating complex puzzle elements based on block layout and properties. The game features a distinctive shareware model. Users can play for free, but paying $20 registers the game and provides access to an editor. The author finds this distribution method noteworthy. A large screenshot illustrates the gameplay of Diamonds, showing a grid of colorful blocks, a paddle, and multiple bouncing balls. The visual confirms its genre as a block breaker but hints at the described puzzle complexity. The author expresses intrigue regarding the game's design and its potential impact. This page features the BeepMD Hot Menu Part 3, highlighting upcoming and anticipated Sega Mega Drive titles. The main focus is on Langrisser, a highly anticipated strategy RPG that blends tactical simulation with character growth and RPG elements like class changes. The article notes the game covers the first 10 of its 20 stages and has garnered significant buzz before release. The page breaks down the early gameplay, detailing the first 3 stages of Langrisser. Stage 1, titled Escape from the Royal Capital, involves the protagonist Redden escaping a besieged castle. Stage 2, To Salrus, describes the journey with companions towards the town of Salrus, facing bandits. Stage 3, Ambush, depicts an attack in Salrus. Each stage summary provides brief strategic advice and story context, accompanied by screenshots showing map layouts and character interactions. The text emphasizes the game's strategic depth and narrative appeal. The hot menu list also previews other games featured in this part, including titles like Blue Almanac and Veritex. The next page delves deeper into the strategic RPG Langrisser, specifically focusing on Stage 4, known as the Forest of the Dead. The narrative sets up a desperate situation where Prince Redden and his group are ambushed by a massive army of slimes while rushing to Baltia Castle. The text is direct. A head-on fight is impossible, and the objective is purely survival for 10 turns. The party is surrounded, making retreat difficult. The page also introduces key allies joining the party in this stage. Chris, a young woman who can use healing magic and has feelings for Redden, and Zorn, a capable commander sent by Duke Hawking. The Stage 4 map is displayed, showing the challenging starting position. A sure-win strategy section offers vital tips for overcoming this stage. The primary escape route is identified as the bottom left of the map, where reinforcements will arrive. Players are advised to move towards this area immediately. Volkov is recommended as the rearguard due to his strength, tasked with holding back the pursuing slimes, although the slimes are noted as tough enemies even for him. The strategy emphasizes keeping units within Volkov's command range. Finally, the reinforcements, primarily guardsmen, are highlighted for their fire attacks, which are effective against the slimes. Once the main party links up with these reinforcements, it's suggested to let the guardsmen handle the fighting to minimize casualties. This stage is a test of tactical retreat and survival rather than brute force. In Stage 5, the Imperial Guard, Prince Redden and his allies encounter the Black Knight Lances in a mountain pass. Players must choose a path and prepare for a cavalry-heavy battle. Strategy focuses on unit matchups. Archers, light elves are recommended, counter cavalry, while infantry counters archers. The terrain limits engagement, making the vanguard crucial. The stage introduces Volkov, a skilled commander whose units were destroyed after escaping Baltia castles. His presence suggests a significant story role. The sure-win strategy advises leading with light elves to counter enemy cavalry. Utilize terrain strategically, especially high ground. Finally, anticipate a potential ambush from a cavalry unit crossing a bridge, and position a defensive unit there to protect your main force in the basin. This page covers Stage 6 of Langrisser, detailing the assault on Baltia Castle. Prince Redden returns to his occupied homeland, facing Commander Zeld, who has fortified the castle defenses. This stage emphasizes the utility of the guardman unit, particularly when fighting on elevated terrain like the castle walls. While defeating Zeld is the victory condition, taking the time to clear all enemies for experience points is a viable strategy. The strategy guide highlights critical unit placement, especially at the start near the castle entrance, which is guarded by enemy cavalry. It advises leading with archer units to counter the cavalry threat and avoiding placing slower infantry units here. The castle has 2 entrances via bridges. It notes that scaling the moat walls, while seemingly strategic, is not possible until units have entered the castle grounds. An interesting tactic suggested is using the single archer unit to help secure one entrance, then retreating it to reinforce the main push on the other side. The stage also introduces 2 key characters who join your cause: Taylor, a former Royal Navy commander imprisoned below the castle, and Jessica, a former royal mage, and the sole person who knows the secret of the sacred sword Langrisser. The page includes map screenshots and character illustrations for these new allies. This page jumps into Stage 7 of Warsong, titled Hero of the Fort, and subtitled The Desperate River Crossing Operation. It details Prince Redden's urgent mission to save Fort Commander Albert, whose fort is besieged by the enemy. The stage's objective is simple: reach Albert and his fort before they are overrun. This requires crossing a significant river. The main challenge highlighted is the presence of elite enemy naval units, specifically Serpent Knights, who are formidable, especially in the water. The strategy guide provides crucial tips. First, be extremely wary of the Serpent Knights, noting their strength both in water and on land. Second, emphasize speed. The stage is a race against time to save Albert. Don't get bogged down fighting unnecessary enemies, but focus on the quickest route to the fort. Third, make effective use of your own naval units, as they have high movement speed in water and can be used to flank enemies waiting on the far bank, or even engage the enemy navy directly. The guide suggests using magic, like Jessica's, to help defeat the tough Serpent Knights. The character profile introduces Albert, the steadfast commander, defending the fort with a small force. Overall, this stage is a test of tactical movement and prioritizing objectives while navigating dangerous terrain and unit types. This page covers Warsong's Stage 7, detailing the rush to save Albert's besieged fort by crossing a river and dealing with enemy naval units. This page moves directly into Stage 8 of Warsong, titled Pursuit, where the objective is to chase down and defeat the retreating enemy commander before he escapes the map. Following the events of Stage 7, Prince Redin and the forces, now joined by Albert, pursue the Imperial Army. The key to this stage is speed and smart positioning. The enemy force is a mixed group of infantry and archers, making direct assaults tricky. The guide emphasizes getting ahead of the enemy commander quickly to block his escape route, recommending a strong unit for this flanking maneuver. It also stresses the importance of using terrain effectively. Units gain bonuses when fighting from forests or water for the relevant unit types. Delaying too long will result in enemy reinforcements arriving from the bottom left. A prominent character featured on this page is Lance, Redin's rival, shown in a detailed illustration and described as a formidable Black Knight who frequently appears as a reinforcement. Defeating him is valuable for experience, but dangerous. The strategy guide warns against overextending when engaging concentrated enemy groups and suggests maintaining formation around the commander while slowly picking off enemies. The stage screenshots show the initial setup and a later turn, illustrating the map and unit placements. Stage 9 of Warsong, Monster Appearance, sees Redin's forces battling the Dalsis Imperial Army along the Was River. A surprise attack by monsters complicates the situation, with the Black Knight lands also appearing. The objective is for Redin to escape to the northern edge of the map. Other units are not required. The challenge lies in crossing the river, which slows movement. The guide suggests crossing slightly right of the map center, where a peninsula extends into the water. Key strategies include: only Redin needs to escape, so units can be left behind, and using mermen to clear the river path due to their aquatic advantage. Screenshots illustrate the river crossing point and enemy formations, highlighting the stage's chaotic and challenging nature. This page continues the guide for Warsong, focusing on Stage 10, titled Beware of the Magic Users. It covers the assault on Valk Castle, the final barrier before Emperor Daigos's capital. The prologue describes Valk Castle's formidable defenses on a lake island, making the entry challenging, especially with enemy naval forces. Redin's forces must break through these defenses, and the commander is advised to lead the charge. A portrait of Emperor Daigos is also featured, described as the ruler of the Dalsis Empire, wielding the demonic sword Langrisser. The winning strategy guide for Stage 10 offers 3 key points. First, lure the powerful enemy naval units away from the bridge entrance, perhaps using a decoy, as being attacked by them there is devastating. Ideally, draw them onto land where they are weaker. Second, neutralize the enemy bishop within the castle, who wields dangerous fire magic like Fireball. Using Jessica's magic to target them first is recommended. Third, be vigilant about enemy reinforcements that appear on the map's lower left if the assault drags on. It is crucial to defeat these reinforcements entirely before facing the castle's commander to avoid being trapped. The page includes screenshots showing the castle layout, the full map, and tactical situations illustrating the strategies. This page dives into the second scenario of the Sega Mega Drive RPG, Blue Almanac, setting the stage on the Lotus Star. After clearing Scenario 1 and departing Terrace Raid, the protagonist arrives on Lotus Star, only to discover he needs a passport to leave the airport, which is supposedly being prepared by a reception girl. While waiting, a young girl approaches, mistaking him for her older brother, and he shakes her hand. Upon leaving the airport, his companion Haluk informs him he's heading to Pop's bar in Prow City and departs. With nothing else to do, the protagonist decides to visit the same bar and finds Haluk there, who reveals that the police have been searching for him everywhere. Confused, as the only significant thing he's done is shake the girl's hand, the protagonist hears about the Rib City police chief acting strangely and plans to investigate. However, immediately after leaving the bar, he is unexpectedly arrested by the police. A sidebar questions if a character resembling the protagonist might be the real culprit the police and the girl are looking for, highlighting the peculiar fact that this planet seems full of doppelgangers. This page of the Blue Almanac coverage immediately throws the player into a surprising scenario on Lotus Star. The focus shifts to the first town, Prow City, where the main character is unexpectedly replaced by Haluk. The reviewer details Haluk's immediate goals: rescuing the original protagonist, meeting a look-alike at the airport, and recovering the brain sword from the guards. It's advised against rushing to Rib City, as it's overrun with monsters. The page provides a map of Prow City to help players navigate. It also includes a list of items available in the town's shops, categorizing them into armor, weapons, and general items, complete with their prices. A separate section discusses an encounter with a character who confesses to being an Asperia capable of shapeshifting by shaking hands, clarifying the bizarre plot twist and the nature of the protagonist's switch. Screenshots show interior locations within Prow City. This page continues the guide for Star Odyssey, detailing the next objective: pursuing the shape-shifting Asperian to Rib City. Following the strange encounter in Prow City, the player is instructed to head to Rib City to solve the mystery surrounding the Asperian, who claimed they would become an ally if defeated in their transformed state. Rib City is described as a town overrun by monsters. Players are advised to navigate from a building called Stephun, heading south towards the item shop located in the center of the town. This is where the Asperian, now disguised as Haluk, is waiting. Upon finding the Asperian, a battle ensues. The guide suggests carrying recovery items, though it implies the battle should be winnable. After successfully defeating the Asperian, the player is prompted to give them a nickname, solidifying their recruitment. Screenshots show views of the town and the encounter locations, including the item shop interior where the Asperian is found. A notable dialogue snippet after the battle shows the Asperian offering help and camaraderie. A separate section highlights the battle itself, praising the character's fighting poses. The Asperian's disguise is noted, resembling Haluk but with subtle color differences, and the barehanded combat is highlighted as a cool feature, deeming the pair the strongest tag team. This page continues the guide for Star Odyssey, detailing the objectives following the recruitment of your Asperian ally. The first task is to retrieve the brain saber, which was previously entrusted to Haluk. The guide then leads you back to Prow City to visit Dr. Dick at the hospital, and later investigate a mysterious figure known as M at the Information Bureau, an encounter that culminates in a significant revelation and tragic event involving Mac. You'll then return to Rib City to obtain the code for the Foggy Garden from Mac's wife, and purchase the necessary Fog Erase item from the black market vendor Paulo, in preparation for entering the underground prison. Along the way, you'll encounter other characters like Philip at the pub, and find essential items such as the Angel Drug and the Pocket, a convenient item that expands your inventory capacity from 7 to 14 slots. The page also poses a compelling mystery regarding a blind girl, and her potential connection to Haluk's past and lost memories. This page guides you through the next steps in Star Odyssey, starting with the Rock Garden. The area is initially covered in heavy fog, making it impossible to see. While you have the Fog Erase item, the guide advises against using it immediately. Instead, navigate through the fog to a dead end in the upper left section of the Rock Garden. Using the Fog Erase item at this specific location will clear the fog, revealing the entrance to a small dungeon. This dungeon is a simple, straight path. Inside, you'll encounter a character who sells the essential red goggles for 200 credits. These goggles are crucial for properly navigating the foggy areas ahead. The guide notes that this vendor is the only significant element in this small dungeon, and the area beyond is a dead end. After obtaining the red goggles, the maps for the Lotus Prison B1, B2, and B3 floors are shown, indicating your next destination. This page continues the guide for Star Odyssey, detailing your progress through the Lotus Prison after obtaining the red goggles. You'll navigate floors B1 through B3, encountering a temporary roadblock that is easily overcome. The guide points out a Stephun teleportation point on B3, which allows for free travel back to towns for recovery and item restocking. The main objective within the prison is to obtain the drug known as Flava. After reaching the warden, you learn that the Asperian, disguised as Hark, intended to get this item. You must talk to the warden, who reveals the Flava exchange location is at the port. Crucially, you also rescue the protagonist who is imprisoned here. With the protagonist free, the focus shifts to retrieving the Flava. You head to the port warehouse, get the Flava easily, and are then instructed to take it to Hark's daughter at the hospital. Delivering the flava completes this segment. Finally, the page explains how to leave the planet. Returning to the Rock Garden dungeon, mentioned on the previous page, you'll find the Asperion's ship, which turns out to be the strange object seen earlier. Getting on the ship allows you to travel to the next planet, signifying the end of this scenario. The guide notes that the adventure continues on the next page with an introduction to Scenario 3. Screenshots show the prison interiors, dialogue scenes, the port warehouse, and the Asperian ship. This page kicks off Scenario 3 in Star Odyssey, taking you to Shiril Star. Upon arrival, you part ways with the Asperian. Almost immediately, a woman at the port directs you to Shiril Castle. Once there, you're surprisingly asked if you've spoken to Princess Lana, only to discover she's nowhere to be found within the castle. Puzzled, you'll need to explore the town and gather information from the locals. You learn about Shiril Star's twin planet, Daryl Star, and a special day called Haru no Hai when they are closest. Interestingly, Shiril Star is exclusively inhabited by women, and Daryl Star by men. Further investigation at a military base reveals that Daryl Star has been occupied by the Radan army, hinting at Princess Lana's possible location and predicament. The page also introduces key combat mechanics, the Brain Sword and the Force system. The Brain Sword, equipped by the protagonist, has attack power that scales with your level and is ineffective at lower levels. Force, a crucial skill, can only be used while the Brain Sword is equipped. Some monsters are impervious to regular attacks and can only be defeated using Force. To effectively utilize Force, you'll need to boost your character's level, element stats, and FP. The guide advises prioritizing increasing the Brain Sword's attack power above other weapons to make Force a viable option. Screenshots showcase different Force attacks in action during battles. This page features Arcus Odyssey, an action RPG developed by Wolf Team. The article highlights the game's impressive visuals and quarter-view perspective gameplay. The story involves two heroes preventing the revival of the evil sorceress Castamira, exploring 7 stages filled with monsters and puzzles. Each stage features unique gimmicks that require investigation and interaction with friendly NPCs to progress. The game includes boss battles and offers features like 2-player simultaneous play and password saving. Screenshots show character portraits, including Castamira, and an in-game scene with a castle under a large moon. The page also introduces the 4 playable heroes: Jita Chaff, a young knight; Aaron Garshner, a chain sword-wielding warrior; Diana Filiria, an elf bowmaster; and Vid Shear, a wisp-controlling sorcerer. Each character has distinct combat styles and initial stats. This page previews Arcus Odyssey, an action RPG with notable visuals, 2-player co-op, and 4 unique heroes. Temple Without Gods, the first chapter of Arcus Odyssey, unfolds in a vast cave system. Players must proceed cautiously, using safe zones to assess weapons and timing. The journey begins at the Tears of the Gods entrance, with an early encounter granting the hero power. The environment features a waterfall puzzle. One leads to the source, and a helpful NPC reveals a captured group. Challenging monsters guard the waterfalls. The chapter culminates in a battle against the Red Golem, a mobile boss utilizing projectiles. Players should use terrain and hit-and-run tactics. Character progression involves power orbs, red for attack, blue for HP, earned from defeating bosses, and magic crystals, which enhance magic. The magic system resembles Golden Axe. The level features diverse environments, including the cave, waterfall area, Red Golem boss, and item icons. This page delves into the second chapter of Arcus Odyssey, titled Beautiful Demon Cave. Following the defeat of the Waterfall Guardian from the previous chapter, you enter a watery area resembling a path floating on a lake, where captive adventurers await rescue from a ritual sacrifice. The text emphasizes that ignoring their plight is not an option. The chapter introduces various items found in treasure chests, crucial for survival. These include the Lamp of Life for HP recovery, the handy Wisp Fireball Barrier, the screen-clearing element Party Magic, the temporary invincibility of the Medicine of Immortality, the one-time revival from the Reverse Doll, and the Antidote Herb of pure ability to counter poison attacks. You'll need to open the prison where the adventurers are held. This requires obtaining a key found near the water source exit, hinted at by an NPC. Upon rescuing them, you can choose one as a partner. Featured potential partners include Caudega, a mercenary knight with a boomerang axe; Freya, a light magic user who spells home in on enemies; and Cardiel, a noble-turned-mercenary whose knife attacks splash corrosive fluid. The chapter culminates in a boss battle against a giant, armored creature that moves on the water, attacking with fire and claws. This is described as the true stage boss, encountered after an initial phase. The reviewers note that enemy attacks, especially with flying projectiles, become quite challenging in this chapter, so be prepared. Chapter 3 of Arcus Odyssey, Evil Ritual, plunges players into a pyramid teeming with undead and a ritual to revive the sorceress Castamira. This chapter features complex, multi-level maps. Players must navigate both exterior and interior spaces, battling enemies capable of resurrecting skeletons, requiring strategic combat. The chapter emphasizes exploration and careful resource gathering. Secret connections between pedestals and doors offer clues, and a speaking monster can unlock progress. Players encounter a captured adventurer, the recovery of whom can vary depending on character choice. A defensive technique utilizing the attack button is critical for blocking projectiles. Traps are abundant, including deceptive items that lead to ambushes. The narrative also sees the player's partner captured. Survival depends on mastering defense, navigating traps, and adapting to the vertical challenges. This page shows a very helpful magic list for Arcus Odyssey. The main characters can cast spells by using magic crystals, the number of which corresponds to the level of the desired spell. If you want to cast a level 3 spell, you'll need 3 crystals. But don't forget, constantly changing levels is a waste of crystals. The page breaks down each character's spells by level, from level 1 to level 5. Quote, Garrett's spells focus on protection and fire damage. Aaron's spells are primarily supportive or status-based. Quote, Diana specializes in light and tracking projectiles. Vyud's magic involves powerful area effect spells and summoning. Below the spell list, a section titled, What Happens From Here, gives a quick overview of the game up through Stage 3, mentioning the atmosphere and some general tips for those stuck. It assures players that while full walkthroughs are avoided, there are hints provided. The magazine promises a detailed look at Stage 4 and beyond in the next issue, urging interested readers to look forward to it. Screenshots show scenes from later parts of the game, including potential boss encounters and dangerous new areas. This page concludes the coverage of Zayn, Yasha's Round Dance Melody, a unique title from Wolf Team. The article highlights the game's blend of simulation and adventure genres, noting that while it appears to be a simulation, playing it reveals a strong adventure game feel. This is attributed to the game's clever mix of historical figures and fantastical elements, creating a historical fantasy world where magic and monsters exist alongside samurai. The game uses names of real historical warlords, but places them in a fictional conflict involving different factions like the Yashamin and Maku. The illustration on the page reinforces this theme, depicting samurai characters alongside menacing creatures. The article then introduces several important warlords from the game, detailing their affiliations within the Yashain, Maku, and Shukan, neutral, factions, and providing brief personality descriptions. This deep dive into the characters is presented as a key aspect of understanding the game's expanding narrative. This page delves into the intricacies of treasures and their role in Zan, Yasha's Round Dance Melody. It highlights the game's unique blend of simulation and fantasy, particularly focusing on the use of sorcery. As previously mentioned, the neutral faction, Chukan, cannot use inherent sorcery tied to the gods of the Yasha or Maku factions. The article explains that treasures serve as crucial items, often possessing effects equivalent to, or even surpassing, sorcery. Screenshots show navigating the world map and a character acquiring a treasure. Crucially, the neutral faction can gain access to powerful abilities, including sorcery, by utilizing specific jewel treasures. Some historical warlords in the neutral faction, like Masamune Date, are noted to have the aptitude needed to harness these items effectively. A significant portion of the page is dedicated to listing various treasures and their effects, outlining which faction, Yasha, Maku, or neutral, can use them. These treasures offer a wide range of tactical advantages, from combat buffs and troop morale increases to strategic effects on the map, including attacks and status changes, providing diverse ways to impact the game outside of standard commands. The page also mentions that the list is not exhaustive, suggesting there are many more treasures awaiting discovery across the nation. This page continues the in-depth look at the vertical shooter Veritex, focusing on the challenging final stretch from Stage 4 to the climax in Stage 6. The article emphasizes that these are the hardest stages in what is already considered a tough game, promising to reveal many of the game's mysteries during the final battles. It asks about the fate of the battleship Aphrodite and what awaits players on the planet Syrax. The discussion on Stage 4, titled Search for Syrax, highlights the graphic presentation of asteroid fields filling the screen and the difficulty of spotting enemies that ram you. It advises players to be cautious of these smaller foes and recommends using the laser weapon against tougher opponents. A screenshot shows the Stage 4 boss, described as attacking with boomerang arms and being surprisingly cheeky. A section on appearing items summarizes the types of power-ups available, indicating how frequently you can find different lasers, homing missiles, bombs, and shields. The points are here section uses screenshots to illustrate critical moments or enemies. These include a mini-boss type enemy that fires volleys of missiles, the strategic importance of acquiring shields, handling situations where multiple enemies attack simultaneously, and being vigilant against enemies that creep up from behind. The page reinforces that preparation by reading this guide is essential for tackling these final stages. The very text guide concludes with 2 challenging stages. Stage 5. Space Material War plunges players into deep space combat against relentless enemy swarms. Survival hinges on collecting every item due to unpredictable attacks. Key events include battling a giant blue battleship, facing a rookie's fortress, and the teleporting Master of Aijutsu boss. No lasers or homing missiles are available. Stage 6. Hell's Last Fight takes place within the grotesque depths of planet Syrax, a Jaguaresque environment. Players must save Syrax. The stage features more balanced item drops. Notable challenges include the consecutive Mecha Brothers bosses, the Great Serpent, the splitting magic flying wall, and the indescribable final boss. Prepare for a difficult fight to the very end. This page features a report on a game session and tournament held in Osaka, following up on a previous announcement. The event took place on March 10th at J&P Technoland, a major computer store located in Osaka's famous electric town near the iconic Tsutenkaku Tower. The turnout was impressive, with over 100 people waiting just 30 minutes after the event started, eventually reaching 180 participants, leading to registration being cut off. A game tournament quickly commenced amidst the enthusiastic crowd. The game in focus appears to be very Cortex, as suggested by the previous page, and images showing intense gameplay. The report captures the atmosphere of the event, highlighting the spectators intently watching the monitors and the players competing seriously. The final results showcase the top players, with participants coming from various cities across Japan, including Kobe, Shinjuku, Osaka, Nagoya, and Yokohama. The winner of the tournament, Mr. Tanaka Ryuhei from Osaka, is pictured proudly holding his prize, a Game Gear handheld console. The report notes that Osaka Mega Drive users seem to have a slightly different vibe compared to those in Tokyo. A group photo captures the crowd after the event concluded. There was also a giveaway for special telephone cards, listing numerous winners across different prefectures. This page features a look at the Game Gear and highlights an exciting new release. The focus is on the GG Shinobi, a highly anticipated title. Released on April 26, 1991, for 3,800 yen, this action game boasts music composed by the legendary Yuzo Koshiro, known for his work on games like YS and previous Shinobi titles. The review notes the unique use of PSG sound on the Game Gear, giving the soundtrack a distinct and nostalgic feel compared to the FM synthesis common at the time. A key feature is the stage selection system, offering access to 4 initial stages in any order, plus additional rounds later. The gameplay centers around Joe Musashi rescuing his 4 ninja comrades, each possessing unique weapons and ninja arts. By rescuing them, Musashi gains their abilities, such as double jumps, specialized weapons, or different attack styles, adding strategic depth. Screenshots show various stages like highway, woodland, valley, and harbor, illustrating the diverse environments players will navigate. The evaluation chart gives solid scores across the board, particularly praising the visual and audio aspects, 4.5, and longevity, 4, while control is rated 3.5, and game balance also 3.5. The reviewer notes the game is quite challenging but rewards persistence. The overall sentiment is very positive, especially highlighting the excellent music and the satisfying gameplay that unfolds as you progress and utilize the different ninja abilities. The review concludes it feels close to the classic arcade or Master System Shinobi experience. This page dives into a couple more Game Gear titles. First up is Super Golf, marking the system's debut in the golf genre. It offers both stroke play and match play for up to 4 players. The game is set in a pleasant tropical resort, with graphics that are decent and easy to view. While the controls are praised for their simplicity, the reviewer finds the game a bit too easy overall, noting a lack of tension that experienced golf gamers might seek. Despite this, it's considered a solid entry, especially welcoming to beginners. The game features different players and caddies to choose from, each with unique characteristics. The second game featured is Shikinju, a puzzle game utilizing mahjong tiles. The objective is simple: match identical tiles to make them disappear. Clearing the board involves strategically removing tiles. Being mindful of obstacles, the game includes passwords after every 5 rounds, and features charming cutscenes with cute characters. The reviewer highlights the straightforward rules, and finds it to be a well-made puzzle game for a handheld system. It includes a helpful feature to revert mistakes, and has atmospheric Chinese kai-style background music. While the later rounds can become challenging, it's recommended for puzzle enthusiasts or those looking for a good time killer. This page covers 2 more exciting titles hitting the Game Gear. First up is Gear Stadium, bringing the beloved Namco baseball series, known as Family Stadium in Japan, to the handheld. It's highlighted as a faithful port, utilizing data from the '91 console release and featuring 14 teams with updated rosters. The game boasts realistic fine plays, errors, and 2 distinct stadiums. The reviewer is particularly impressed with the detailed home run celebrations, including planes and ships. Below that, we look at Mappy, the classic arcade action game. This Game Gear version faithfully ports the original horizontal scrolling gameplay, but also adds brand new, exclusive modes. These include Ancestors Challenge, a unique vertical scrolling mode, and Versus Mappy, allowing players to compete for scores after clearing stages. The page shows screenshots of the original style gameplay, the new vertical mode, and the Versus mode selection screen, suggesting a high-quality adaptation with significant new content. This page features previews for several upcoming Game Gear titles. First, Sega's classic shooter Fantasy Zone is getting a portable port, said to feature graphics even better than the Mark II version, retaining its unique boss battles and shop system. Next is Magical Puzzle Popples, marking Tengen's entry into the Game Gear market. This is a puzzle game where you break blocks to clear the screen and rescue a princess, avoiding enemies and spikes. It includes a convenient resume function. Finally, Ganbare Gorby is highlighted as a surprising action game. Players control Gorbikun, delivering supplies in a factory setting while battling guards with a unique speech attack. The G.G hotline section reveals major news. Sega is releasing a full-fledged RPG titled Millennium on Game Gear. It's described as a field-type RPG with NPC party members, featuring 2 megabits of data plus battery backup. There's also an update on Kaniko's puzzle game, likely known as Wallbreaker internationally, confirming its release first on Game Gear, followed by Mega Drive and arcade versions. This page delves into upcoming titles for the Sega game library. Featured is the Phantasy Star II text adventure focusing on Eustace, exploring his backstory from youth, providing narrative depth for fans of the classic RPG. Screenshots show the character portraits and text interface. Next is Hyper Marbles, an action game reminiscent of Paddle Fighter, where players use machines in a top-down arena to push opponents off the screen. It supports competitive 2-player gameplay and is available this month. Finally, the page looks ahead at the future of the game library. The Phantasy Star II text adventure series is concluding, with installments focusing on Roger and Nilai. The plan is to release 2 titles monthly moving forward, combining ports of classic Sega games with original titles. One such original is Megamind, a puzzle game described as being similar to Mastermind. This page features the Mega Driver EuroLeague Volume 13, announcing the inclusion of Game Gear tips alongside the usual Mega Drive secrets. Featured tips include a character-altering cheat for Bahamut Senki by holding a button on the title screen. For Star Cruisers, there's a method to acquire extra gate keys by re-entering cleared dungeons. Super Monaco GP players can unlock a Sierra clone character by repeatedly challenging a specific rival, with a password provided to access a state where 3 Sierras exist. Under the heading, "This is the True Eurowaza," A particularly unconventional tip is given for what appears to be a mahjong-style game. It describes using a Sega Mark II paddle controller plugged into the Mega Drive's 2 port to enable special gameplay modes, and using specific directional inputs as a password to jump straight to the ending. Shadow Dancer gets a tip for earning a peaceful reward of 100,000 points by defeating enemies without using ninja arts. Finally, for Battle Golfer Yui, the page provides instructions on accessing a sound test by holding the B button while pressing start on the title screen. Screenshots accompany several of the tips, illustrating the results or screens involved. This page delves further into the world of gaming secrets, featuring a collection of urawaza, or cheat codes for various titles, with a focus on Game Gear alongside some Mega Drive classics. You'll find tips like accessing the sound test in WrestleBall by entering a specific password. For the arcade shooter Kyukyoku Tiger, there's a command sequence involving pausing and button presses that grants maximum shot power, or a full stock of 8 bombs. Super Volleyball players can view the staff roll by inputting a special password. The Game Gear platformer Psychic World offers a combined sound test and level select by holding buttons at the title screen. If you're playing the Pro Yaku 91, a Japanese baseball game, you can challenge a special Hall of Fame team by inputting a directional sequence on the opponent's selection screen. Finally, the Game Gear version of Wonder Boy allows for selecting any area from 1 to 9 by holding a simple button combination at the start. The page also details the B-Mega Urawaza League, an ongoing feature where readers submit tips, which are then ranked by the editorial team. Prizes include game software and gift certificates, and there's an open call for readers to submit any secrets they discover. This page is Kazoku's Small Room, Volume 4, a column hosted by Ikeda Kazoku. The primary focus is a conversation between Kazoku and Pai, the guitarist from the band Aura. They discuss the current state of the band scene and video games, pictured together holding controllers and seemingly playing. Their conversation touches on navigating the music industry landscape and staying relevant. The page also includes a brief, unrelated segment where Kazoku expresses his strong dislike for the Kyo train line and an illustration. This page delves into the world of video games and fan interaction, continuing the conversation between Kazoku and Pai. The main section, titled Fantasy is Fine, But So Are Sports, features Kazoku and Pai discussing their gaming habits. Pai admits he was initially against video games but got hooked after playing Dragon Quest. They talk about the appeal of its vast world and puzzle solving, and how he played Dragon Quest II, then I, and 2i. Pai also expresses a love for sports games, and mentions Shining and the Darkness as another favorite. Kazoku notes Pai's good taste in games. Pai mentions forming a baseball team with band members, though he admits they usually lose. He also talks about playing Game Ground while waiting at the studio. The page includes updates on both Pai and Kazoku. There's news about Pai's band Aura's upcoming tour, and Kazoku's recent music releases and live performances. The Love Letter Corner features fan mail. One fan praises Remote's album Ancestors and a specific song. Others share personal anecdotes, including a humorous story about a father's habit, and a note about a love confession gone wrong. The section also provides an address for fan mail. Finally, Kazoku's horror diary recounts strange experiences, like hearing a spirit voice during a performance of Harvest, and unusual events tied to the Game Ground, alongside a bizarre illustration. The page covers a mix of gaming talk, music updates, and fan interaction with a touch of the strange. This page takes a unique approach to discussing arcade games, presenting it as a hard-boiled detective story titled Hyper Sega Hard-Boiled Mystery, an adventure surrounding Rad Mobile SV. Written from the perspective of a private investigator running an agency in Sotokanda, the article details a case involving Sega's Rad Mobile arcade game. The detective and his assistant, Aki, are hired by a client named Yamashita to locate a rare, special version of Rad Mobile SV. The narrative follows their search through various game centers, including one named Aegis in Jiugaoka, trying to track down this elusive version of the cross-country racing game, which is noted for being one of the first arcade titles to utilize a 32-bit CPU. The page features a screenshot of the Rad Mobile arcade cabinet itself, highlighting the quest within the article. It's a creative way to draw readers into a review or discussion of a specific arcade machine and its variations. The next page continues. The hard-boiled detective story, centered around finding the special version of Rad Mobile. The investigator and his assistant, Aki, visit the Aegis Game Center in Jiugaoka. A photo shows the investigator and the manager, inspecting the back of a RAD mobile cabinet to check its serial number, a crucial step in their search. Another image highlights the game center's interior, described as having a 60s American style. Despite the search, they don't find the elusive SV version of RAD Mobile here. The story reveals that the name Aegis is actually Sega, spelled backward, a clever nod. They leave Aegis, continuing their hunt for the rare machine. Below the main story is a section inviting reader participation, titled Checkpoint, Canada Integrated Credit Detective Agency News. It serves as a reader mail corner, asking for interesting game information, requests, or questions. Submissions featured can win prizes, including a Sega Game Gear, pictured alongside RAD mobile cabinets, illustrating the kind of content the readers might discuss. This section acts as a community hub, connecting the magazine's content with its audience. The 1991 AOU Expo at Makuhari Messe showcased a vibrant arcade scene. With a record-breaking turnout of enthusiastic fans, the expo highlighted a trend towards large, immersive arcade cabinets, with Sega's R360 and As-1 simulators, along with Taito's D3 Boss, drawing significant crowds. While these massive machines were a focal point, traditional table-style games were also evolving. Konami's Daytona, Twinbee, and Capcom's Street Fighter II impressed, demonstrating console influences with improved graphics and gameplay. The expo's wide range of games, from racing and shooting to puzzles and fighting, offered diverse arcade experiences. Photos showcased racing cabinets, the As-1 simulator, and other games, illustrating the event's variety. Overall, the expo signaled the continued evolution and excitement of the arcade industry. This page highlights the dominance of experiential arcade games, following up on the trend discussed previously. It showcases several impressive simulator cabinets that were the talk of the show. Featured prominently are Sega's As-1, a large 8-seater simulator offering a movie-like immersive experience, and the returning R360 and D-cubed Boss cabinets, both famous for their 360-degree rotation capabilities, providing intense physical sensations during gameplay, like the included Glock dogfight. D-cubed Boss is noted for its two-player box design and features that make it more accessible. Namco presents the Driver's Eye Race, a Formula One simulator, utilizing an impressive triple-screen setup for a wide, realistic view, and Winning Run 91, an F1 racer supporting up to 8-player link-up for competitive play. Sega also shows off RAD Mobile, an advanced 32-bit cross-country racing game with realistic effects like rain wipers and headlights. Jaleco's Cisco Heat offers exciting public road racing action through San Francisco. Taito's Racing Beat is another FRA1 game, featuring a unique 2-player cockpit and communication link for up to 4 players. The page reflects the excitement and technological advancement in arcade gaming, particularly in creating more physical and immersive experiences, marveling at the dedication of developers. This page reviews popular action games in arcade cabinets, emphasizing diverse gameplay and developer focus on international markets and potential console ports. Street Fighter II, a mixed action and sports game, is highlighted for its fighting mechanics. Other featured games include Cotton, a charming witch-themed action game, Rolling Thunder 2, a shooting-based action title with 2-player simultaneous play, and RoboCop 2, a flashy movie-based action game with expanded content and 3D scenes, also supporting 2 players. Data East contributes Joe and Mac, a prehistoric action game with comical elements, and Growls, a 4-player simultaneous play game designed for overseas markets. Gun Force by Irem, a near-future action game with power-ups, and Ninja Kids by Taito, an unusual 4-player ninja action game, complete the selection. This page is titled A Full Lineup of Shooting Games and is part of the Check Out the Trending Video Games, the VG Club section. It highlights the shooting genre, known for attracting skilled players, noting that while there weren't many entries at the show, the featured titles from various companies were excellent. Specifically, Konami's Twinbee and Slink's Alpha Mission 2 were highly anticipated and well received. The vertical scrolling shooters featured are the latest Twinbee from Konami, praised for its colorful visuals, voice acting, and balanced gameplay suitable for both beginners and veterans. Tecmo's STG Strike Gunner offers controlling a new machine with multiple power-up options and 2-player co-op. Strike's Alpha Mission 2, a sequel to the original, improves upon its predecessor with refined operability, item selection, and varied stages. Jaleco's EDF, shown previously, returns with improved game balance and flashier attacks in a near-future setting. The page also covers unique gun-shooting games, light gun games, a genre with fewer entries here but a strong fan base. Namco's Golly Ghost uses a unique combination of video and diorama to create a world where players defeat ghosts for score. Namco's Steel Gunner is a near-future sci-fi gun game featuring power-ups and 3D graphics, offering exciting battles against mobile-suited terrorists. These games are highlighted for competitive play and fun with friends. The next page is dedicated to classic quiz and puzzle games. The top section reviews several titles in these genres. Reviewed quiz games include Slank's Quiz Desu Sasen, featuring a story mode and different protagonists, Sega's Shukudai wa Shurmashita, a nostalgic quiz game that adjusts content based on the chosen era, and Taito's UYU no Quiz de Gogo, a game centered around the talent UYU with a focus on correct answers. These games received ratings around 3 stars. Following these are puzzle games. Data East's Chinatown and IREM's Hassam are presented as unique puzzle games, utilizing mahjong tiles with different mechanics, while Capcom's Attacks is a distinctive grid-based puzzle where players maneuver pieces to cover tiles. These puzzle games received ratings around 2.5 stars. Screenshots are provided for each game, showing their distinct visual styles and gameplay elements. The bottom section looks back at games from around the AOU91 Expo that made an impact. The reviewer highlights Taito's sci-fi shooter Gun Frontier, Neo Geo's colorful action game Blues Journey, known as Ragai in Japan, and Capcom's historical trivia game quiz Tonosama no Yabu. Screenshots accompany these mentions, showcasing their visuals. The reviewer specifically recommends these 3 titles. This page focuses on the industry's exploration of sports games. While baseball games have been popular, developers are experimenting with different concepts. Several sports titles are reviewed here. Konami's Golfing Greats is highlighted as an impressive golf simulation, utilizing a special chip for graphics and offering diverse camera views, earning 3.5 stars. In basketball, Sammy Industries' Dunk Star on Neo Geo receives 3 stars for its strategic gameplay and simulation of techniques. Taito presents multiple sports options, including Hit the Ice, an ice hockey simulation ideal for 2-player versus play, 3 stars, and Hat Trick Hero, a character-focused soccer game also strong in multiplayer, 3 stars. Taito also offers Ashita no Jo Densetsu, a boxing game based on the classic manga that mixes fighting and boxing styles, and Aiku no Koshin, a high school baseball game with unique characters and comical action, 3 stars. A significant piece of news for Neo Geo fans is the announcement that both the hardware and software prices are being reduced starting July 1st, making many popular titles more accessible. This page is a reader giveaway titled B Mega Reader Present. It offers various Sega Mega Drive and Game Gear games, as well as other related items, to readers who fill out and mail in the survey postcard by May 8th. Prizes include 5 copies each of the Mega Drive titles, Zero Wing, Blue Almanac, a full animation battle RPG, Sangokushi Retsuden, a 3 Kingdoms simulation, Ark's Odyssey, an action RPG with 2-player support, and Mahjong Monogatari. For Game Gear, they are giving away 3 copies each of Gear Stadium, the Game Gear port of Namco's classic baseball series, Super Golf, the first golf game on the system, and the fantastic action platformer, Mickey Mouse's Castle of Illusion. Other items offered are 5 Blue Almanac telecards, 5 sets of Kadokawa fantasy novels/RPG replay series books, including volumes on Abnagai Ancestor Gods, and Legend of Light and Darkness, 2-on, Demos, Town of Darkness, and 20 copies of the limited Techno Soft Music Collection Volume .3 Candelas, featuring the original Thunder Force 2i soundtrack. This is a solid chance to grab some great titles and collectibles. This page provides essential information for readers, starting with a comprehensive list of the magazine's staff, including editors, layout artists, photographers, illustrators, and proofreaders who bring the publication to life each week. The page features vibrant artwork depicting a baseball batter, perhaps reflecting a game or a general theme for the issue. There's also a notice indicating the magazine issue is on sale from May 8th. A dedicated telephone line is available for questions specifically about the magazine's content, making it easy for readers to get clarification, though game hints are not provided via this service. The magazine is also actively recruiting new talent, seeking writers for articles on Mega Drive games and general topics, as well as individuals for editorial support. They are looking for applicants over 18 residing in Tokyo with writing skills and interests beyond gaming. The page also shares feedback from readers across Japan, highlighting comments on the magazine's evolving style and readability. Finally, it presents the format for the reader survey postcard, asking questions about demographics like gender, age, and occupation, and polling readers on their purchases of titles such as Bahamut Senki, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, Valis 2 Eyes, and Shining in the Darkness. The survey also probes reader interest in Sega CD titles, upcoming Mega Drive software, desired game ports, and their opinions on the best or worst Mega Drive software. This page showcases new releases from Micronet. On the left side, we see Ambition of Caesar, a grand real-time war simulation for the Mega Drive, featuring artwork of a Roman general on horseback. This 8-megabit title is priced at 8,800 yen. Below that, the Game Gear title Junction is featured, a 1-megabit puzzle game licensed by Konami, available for 3,000 yen, with a screenshot of its grid-based gameplay and a bonus game section. The right side prominently features Raiden, the classic vertical-scrolling arcade shooter, finally arriving on the Mega Drive. Licensed by Seibu Kaihatsu, the section displays the game's signature blue fighter jet and screenshots showing space battles against various enemy ships and structures. This page features a big splash promoting the upcoming release of Raiden Trad for the Mega Drive. The artwork dominates the page, showcasing the player's iconic red fighter ship in space with the pilot visible in the cockpit. The striking Raiden Trad logo is prominently displayed above the ship. Below the ship, the English phrase, "Coming soon!" is written in large green letters. The page also includes several screenshots providing glimpses of the intense vertical scrolling shooter action, depicting battles against various enemies and environments, from space combat and large battleships to ground-based structures and factory floors. A small section at the top right confirms this is a Sega Mega Drive release, licensed from Seibu Kaihatsu, as a dedicated software title from Sega Enterprises. The Japanese text below the title says something along the lines of, "The game appearing live," or "making its live appearance," building anticipation for its release. This page features a prominent advertisement for Thunder Force 2 Eyes on the Sega Mega Drive, proclaiming the birth of a powerful super shooting game that is now on sale. Following the success of Thunder Force 2 MD, this sequel is presented as a refined, authentic shooting experience. It leverages new Mega Drive capabilities like line scrolling, and features numerous large-scale environmental elements and gimmicks. Notably, the game focuses solely on the well-received horizontal scrolling stages from the previous title. Enhancements include weapon power-ups, larger character sprites, and a ship speed adjustment function. The audio boasts clear voice acting, with Kaoru from the Techno Soft Gals Club specifically credited for voices, and stereo sound effects for enhanced immersion. The game is described as being packed with appealing features to satisfy shooting game fans. The page includes screenshots showcasing the gameplay, and portraits of Kanako and Kaoru, highlighting the voice feature. The game is priced at 6,800 yen plus tax. This page features an advertisement for the fantasy action shooting game Elemental Master on the Sega Mega Drive. The prominent title is accompanied by the exciting declaration, "Here, a new legend begins." It's highlighted as the shocking fourth installment from Technosoft, following the acclaimed Thunder Force 2i, positioning it as their next major title in the action genre. The page announces that the game is highly praised and now on sale. Screenshots provide a glimpse of the top-down shooting gameplay, showcasing intense action and powerful attacks. A stage select preview panel displays previews of diverse environments, suggesting various elemental themes. The game is priced at 6,800 yen, excluding tax. This page is an advertisement showcasing the GG Shinobi for the Sega Game Gear, a challenging ninja action game for the handheld. The main artwork features dynamic illustrations of ninjas in combat, suggesting the game's intense theme of saving a chaotic era. Small screenshots highlight the game's classic side-scrolling gameplay. The game was released on April 26, 1991, priced at 3,800 yen. The page also promotes a special limited edition white Game Gear console bundle, which includes a dedicated TV tuner pack and a carrying case, set for a late April release at 34,800 yen.